On game night, the Knicks get tipped over by the Cavs. We'll have the highlights. We'll meet the newest Knicks, the debut of Donaldson tonight at the Garden. The Nets are running on petrol. Bob Page will have the highlights. Denver's golden nugget is a force among rookies. Clyde will rate the best young big man. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to game night. I'm Mike Breen. Tonight, the Knickerbockers and the Denver Nuggets here at Madison Square Garden in a game that will feature a couple of seven-footers. And we're not necessarily talking about Patrick Ewing. We speak of Denver's rookie sensation, Dikembe Mutombo, and the newest Knickerbocker, James Donaldson. Donaldson, of course, making his debut tonight, obtained in the trade on Thursday night, just before the trading deadline for forward Brian Quinnett, traded, of course, by the Dallas Mavericks. He arrived in New York this morning and is going to play tonight wearing number 35. 12-year veteran, 34 years old. He'll be an unrestricted free agent after the season, although Donaldson has said that if the Knicks want him back, he wants to be back with them. And although he's 34, he says he's in great shape, one of those guys that works out 12 months a year, and was the only center in the NBA last season to start all 82 games. As for his career marks, you can bet he's been consistent over the years. His highest points per game average was 11.8, so he's never been a big-time scorer, but a space eater, and on defense has always done the job for the Mavericks and the other players. As for the man he was traded for, Brian Quinnett, in his third season, would occasionally show signs of potential, but never really getting the consistent minutes. Played in 24 of 52 games for the Knickerbockers and averaged just under 8 minutes. As for the Knickerbockers as a team, they want to bounce back from a very tough loss the other night to the Cavaliers here at the Garden. A 92-89 defeat, one the Knicks should have won. A tough defeat down the stretch for the Knickerbockers. They played well, especially early. Patrick Ewing had a big night, 26 points and 17 rebounds, including that beauty. The Knicks were up by 2 points after the first quarter of play. Cavs, of course, hung in there. They played the Knicks very well, even had a little luck. Mark Price with a three-pointer as the shot clock expires. Price with 22 points. Another solid performance from Kiki Vandeweghe, 17 points. He hit 6 and 6 from the floor in the first half alone. But of course, the Cavaliers feature balanced scoring. They didn't shoot well from three-point range, but Craig Elo did bang in one three-pointer. Elo had 13. John Battle once again providing the spark off the bench. Former Rutgers star had 9 points for Lenny Wilkins' club. Late in the fourth, Knicks up by 3. Mark Price so clutch down the stretch, brought them to within 1 point in the final minute. Now, after a Ewing violation, traveling violation, Cavs with a couple of opportunities, and the veteran Larry Nance tips it in. That put them up by 1, and the Knicks had one more chance. John Starks, who had some late second heroics earlier this season, can't find it. Cavs will get the rebound, hit a couple of free throws, and the Cavs go on and win it by 3. They are 3-0 against the Knicks this season. Knickerbockers lead in the Atlantic Division now 3.5 because Boston won last night. Celtics just finished that 1-5 West Coast trip, but they returned to the Boston Garden last night, and they defeated the Hornets, so the Knicks lead is 3.5. Time now for the Alamo Scouting Report. Denver Nuggets 20-52 last year, or 20-62 last year. They won their 20th game of the season already, and they did that last night in Washington. The reason for the turnaround, of course, has been Dikembe Mutombo. What a find for Mutombo. He has just been spectacular early on. The only rookie to be the All-Star team, and of course, he's the favorite to win the Rookie of the Year award this season for the NBA. Mutombo has just been spectacular. 18.8 points per game, 13.2 rebounds per game. That's third in the NBA, and 2.9 blocks per game. The former Georgetown product attributes a lot of his success to another former Hoya, Patrick Ewing. The two former Big East centers worked out with each other during the summer. Of course, they also saw each other during the NBA All-Star break because both made it to the All-Star game, and he liked being his pupil.
I've been working a lot in offense with Patrick because people have been trying to criticize my offense. But you can ask Patrick, I haven't really improved my offense a lot.
I'm extremely proud of Dikembe. I think that he's worked extremely hard to get his game to where it is gotten. And, I mean, he's playing tremendous. He's rebounding, blocking, shot scoring. I told everybody when he, at the beginning of the year that, that Charlotte would be unhappy that they didn't take him, and I think that he's proven that.
He's a nice boy. I don't know if you guys don't like him or not, but I love him. I see him as my brother, you know. I go to see him with his wife, with his daughter, and I play with their kids, and I like him a lot. He comes to see me, you know. We're really good friends.
So the teacher and the pupil will go head-to-head tonight for the first time in their pro careers. But another center gaining a lot of attention here this evening, James Donaldson, again, just acquired from the Dallas Mavericks. He'll make his Knicks debut. Number 35 will be in uniform tonight.
People who want to write sports for us don't give up easy.
Welcome back to game night. Patrick Ewing, of course, normally the big man on campus here at the Garden, but a different center of attention, shall we say, the backup center. James Donaldson, of course, making his Knicks debut. First game since being traded by Dallas. Pat Riley loves Donaldson's shot-blocking ability and his defense. He's certainly a space eater. The size is there, 7'2", 280 pounds. And he's also been a very effective low-post scorer throughout his NBA career. 1 year, in fact, led the NBA in field goal percentage. And a little bit earlier this evening, MSG's John Andres had a chance to speak with James Donaldson.
James Donaldson has had a very long day. It started with a 7 a.m. flight, and one of the descriptions about your arrival here was that you were going to take a nap when you got here today, James. Was that able to occur?
Not quite. As soon as I landed, we went straight to the hospital to get a checkup by Dr. Norman Scott, and so he made sure I was well put together and was satisfied with what he saw. And then about a half hour after checking into my room, it was time to come back over to the Madison Square Garden here and meet with the coaches and see what they wanted to put me through.
What's your overall feeling now at this, what turned out to be a big surprise for you? You didn't expect to be traded, and subsequent to the deadline, you found out you were traded through news reporters. What's your overall feeling, James?
Well, I'm feeling great about the whole thing. I had pretty much given up hope of leaving the Mavericks this year anyway, because the trading deadline had come and gone, and I didn't hear a word about it, me being traded. And so some reporters tracked me down in a neighborhood restaurant that I was eating at that night, and they let me know that the trade went through and I was going to be a Knickerbocker. And I said, wow, that is great. I mean, all of a sudden from worst to first, and it's one of those great scenarios that you can only dream of. You can't even plan anything better if you plan it yourself.
James, you have been the main man for the Dallas Mavericks, and now in your 12th season. Of course, Seattle before that. Now you'll be coming off the bench. Is that something a player should be content with, coming off the bench?
I don't know if you ever want to be content with it, because as soon as you get content, as soon as you get satisfied, I think your growth stops. You have to always push yourself to be the best you can be, and if there's any opportunity to have a door open to you, you have to just see if you can push it down. And so what I want to do is just work as hard as I can in practice, work as hard as I can in the games, and there may be chances at times to be a tandem with Patrick Ewing on the court at the same time. There are all kinds of possibilities that I can control if I work hard, if I play hard. And so it's up to me to kind of determine my own destiny and what happens here.
James, well-documented stories about your disagreements with Derek Harper and Rolando Blackman. Also, you taped a team meeting to make sure your thoughts were clear and stated if questioned. Do you feel that your Knicks teammates will have to get a description of that, because it comes off as you being an odd kind of guy? No one ever heard of a team having a member taping a meeting. Do you think that deserves an explanation?
Well, I don't know if I need to explain to the Knicks teammates, but I'll be more than happy to talk to any of them about any of the instances that they have heard about the past few weeks. Many of them that have been taken completely out of context and totally overblown, out of proportion. I guess the whole essence of the tape recording thing is through the summer of listening to Anita Hill and Clarence Thomas and then William Kennedy Smith and then the Tyson thing. I got tired of the he said, she said type scenarios. So I just wanted to put it on tape, put it on, a documented fact of what had happened and exactly what the actual case is.
Did you have to use it?
No, I didn't have to use it. I mean, amazingly, everybody got quiet after they found that I had it. So it was over with, done with, and never heard from again.
James, a couple of years ago, we asked you about never taking a thrpoint shot, and you had interesting rationale at that time. Does that rationale still apply as to why you haven't taken a three?
That's right. That's right. I remember I told you that I had a lady friend of mine in Dallas who said that if I took and hit a three-point shot, that she would get married to me. And I said, well, I'm not ready to get married yet, and I still haven't been ready, so it's 2 years later, and I still haven't done it. So it's been out throughout my whole career. I still haven't attempted a three-pointer yet.
And she's still in your life?
And she's still in my life. She's still waiting. The bet's still on. So I'm not ready still.
Okay, James Donaldson joining us. James, welcome to the Knicks, and the very best to you in your remaining years with the Knicks.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Okay, and now let's get back to Mike Breen.
All right, thank you, John. A very candid, a very open, and even humorous James Donaldson making his debut tonight for the New York Knickerbockers. Donaldson and Ewing, a couple of veterans, will go up against a rookie center, Dikembe Mutombo. We'll get Clyde Frazier's thoughts on Mutombo when we return on Game Night.
Ride with Clyde is brought to you by the Discover card. It pays to discover, the card that pays you back.
Welcome back to Game Night. Mike Breen along with Walt, Clyde Frazier, Knicks and the Nuggets tonight here at the Garden. Well, the new kid on the block is here, Clyde. What do you think about the trade? Is this a good acquisition for the Knickerbockers?
Oh, I think so. James brings a lot of experience. I think he can give Patrick Ewing a much-needed rest. We've seen in many games this season, Ewing kind of faltering down the stretch. So I think Donaldson can alleviate that now for Patrick.
James Donaldson, a veteran, he'll have to go up against one of the rookie sensations, Dikembe Mutombo. He has been spectacular. Are you surprised at the impact he's had?
On the offensive end, but he's a lot like Patrick Ewing when he came into the league as a defensive reputation there. You see his intensity, tenacity. He's a nasty dude inside, so the Knicks will have to box him off the glass. Again, working one-on-one with a hook shot that Patrick Ewing taught him during the summer.
Now, Mutombo not the only spectacular rookie. There's a bunch of them. Larry Johnson has been very solid this year. Steve Smith of Miami. Who's your rookie of the year?
Unequivocally, I think it's Mutombo, because he's charismatic, dramatic. He has the name. He has it all going for him right now. And I think because he was the only rookie also voted to the All-Star team is indicative of what he will receive the MVP award.
We've seen over the years certain centers have big impacts when they first come on the scene in the NBA. Who are your all-time impact rookie centers throughout the years you've been watching the league?
Okay. You see Chamberlain and Unseld, they were also the MVPs during their rookie year. Of course, Jabbar, Robinson, what he did for San Antonio, and now Mutombo as well.
Of course, Wes Unseld now coaching in the NBA. Certainly, he turned the team around quite a bit. All right, for the Knickerbockers, they've got to bounce back after a very tough loss to the Cavs the other night.
I look for them to play well tonight. The X-Man has been struggling. I look for him to come out of his funk. John Starks has struggled as well. So Denver is not a good rebounding team. They're also weak on the defense, and the Knicks should capitalize on that.
All right, thank you, Clyde. We'll hear again from Clyde at halftime. And, of course, Knicks and the Nuggets coming up here at the Garden. When we return, we'll send it to the MSG Sports Desk, and then more NBA action here at MSG.
One. In the second quarter, watch as Chris Morris goes to the hole, and true to form for him, he blows the layup. But Derek Coleman's there for the rebound and the slam, and former Knicks coach Bob Hill saw his Pacers trail by 3 at halftime. Now off the Indiana miss. Bowie rebounds out to Drazen Petrovic, down to DC, who throws down 2 more of his 20 points. Nets by 12 after 3, and then the near collapse. Chuck Person nails a three-pointer with 1:20 left that cut New Jersey's lead to 1. Pacers then tied the score before Petro came back to put the Nets ahead for good. He had 19 points in the game. Bowie was tops with 21. Now, Indiana still could have sent it to OT, but with 6 seconds remaining, Michael Williams throws up a three-pointer, no good, and Nets fans celebrate that 4-point victory. The Celtics will not go away even without Larry Bird. Boston trails first place New York by just 3.5 games in the Atlantic Division. Last night, the Celtics pulled out a 113-110 win over Charlotte at the Hartford Civic Center. Kenny Gaddison played Robert Parrish pretty well, but not on this possession. Parrish had 24 points and 12 boards. Gaddison 21 and 12. Boston's Kevin Gamble led all scorers with 25 points. Though he missed that layup, Kevin McHale, 20 points and 10 rebounds, gets to put back his best game since returning from injury. But Kevin, like everybody else, had trouble handling Larry Johnson, who had 24 points. He helped cut the lead of Chris Ford and the Celtics to just 1 in the fourth. 14 seconds left, 3 on the shot clock. John Bagley loses Muggsy Bogues on the inbounds pass, puts the Celtics up by 3. Boston celebrates only their 3rd win in the last 10 games. And so another NBA trade deadline has come and gone, and still the Knicks have been unable to bring Chris Mullin back home. Not that the Warriors are exactly willing to trade their all-star forward, of course. You have all heard how comfortable Chris Mullin is in the Bay Area, and they obviously love him. Chris is big out there. How big? Well, he's so big that they have named a hamburger after Chris and his teammate Tim Hardaway. All 164 Bay Area McDonald's now serve the Chris and Tim burger. Stay tuned. Knicks basketball next.
The Denver Denver Nuggets lucked out in the 1991 NBA draft, for with the 4th pick overall, they got the player they wanted all along, 7'2" center Dikembe Mutombo. Known for his defense and shot blocking in college, Mutombo has surprised even the team that selected him first. He's been explosive on offense, averaging 18.8 points per game. Mutombo honed his skills under the watchful eye of John Thompson at Georgetown, a university which produced another great big man, 7-foot Patrick Ewing, now the cornerstone of the Knicks. The two NBA All-Stars are good friends and work out together in the off-season. Tonight, pupil meets teacher for the first time in a regular season encounter. Mutombo, Ewing, next.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. With that clean, crisp, cold taste, nothing beats a Bud. By Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Center. For everything in home and electronics, music, and movies, nobody beats the Wiz. And by The Card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Welcome live to Madison Square Garden. Tonight it's the first meeting of the year between the New York Knicks and the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets have already notched as many wins as a year ago, and their 20-32 record puts them in a respectable 4th place in the Midwest Division. Meanwhile, the Knicks remain in first place, although their lead has been sliced to 3.5 games in the Atlantic Division by virtue of Boston's win last night over Charlotte. Hello again, everyone. I'm Bruce Beck, filling in for Marv Albert. John Andres is by my side. The New York Knicks look to bounce back from a disappointing loss on Thursday night to the Cleveland Cavs. And they will have a new face tonight in James Donaldson, who was acquired from the Dallas Mavericks for Brian Quinnett prior to the trade deadline. You know, John, a lot of names were bantered about before the trade deadline. Donaldson's name was not one of them, but the Knicks looked like they really filled a need.
Yes, no question, Bruce. Now in his 12th season, James Donaldson is a player who has been a starting center, in fact an all-star center at one year, but a starting center on many successful Dallas teams, in Seattle before that. Now as a backup, he brings tremendous amount of quality and dimension to the Knicks. During his 12-year career, his numbers have been fairly substantial. 9 points a game, over 8 rebounds a game. Shoots the ball at a 57% clip throughout his career. One year he led the NBA in that department, as a matter of fact. So there's quality and a good foundation for the Knicks to continue building their way to a much greater degree of success.
From Donaldson, the veteran, we turn our attention to Mutombo, the rookie. He is having an outstanding year, and Johnny has really resurrected a franchise which was clearly on the decline.
Yes, he is the main man in Denver, no question about that, despite John Elway's presence. But Mutombo returned to the Capitol Center last night, where he played many successful games for Georgetown, and he showed the people there that he has got big things in his future with his fine play. A dunk at one point in the game when he was overplayed, and he also revealed a very nice soft jump hook shot. Purvis Ellison had quite a battle with him. And of course, he's one of the league's shot blockers. That ignites breaks many times. And in one situation after a shot block, he retrieved the loose ball from Purvis Ellison, fought his way to it, and dunked the ball. Dunks will be part of his attack, no question about that. Over 18 points a game for Mutombo, 50% from the field, over 13 rebounds a game, and 2.9 shot blocks, number 5 in the NBA. Now, Bruce, what I think is interesting tonight, he is the protege of Patrick Ewing. Patrick really genuinely likes this guy. It's going to be very hard for Patrick to be mean and tough tonight against a guy he feels that way about. So it's quite an interesting personal challenge for Patrick Ewing.
The Knicks have won 10 of 14 overall, and the Nuggets come in off the win last night in Washington. So it's Mutombo going up against Ewing at the Garden. We'll be back in a moment.
Here's your starting lineup. First for Denver. At guard, and 6'5" from Temple, number 1, Mark Macon. At guard, and 6'2" from Southwest Missouri State, number 12, Winston Garland. At forward, and 6'10" from Houston, number 33, Greg Anderson. At forward, and 6'7" from Georgetown, number 34, Reggie Williams. And at center, and 7'2" from Georgetown, number 55, Dikembe Mutombo. are Tim Gillen and Troy Wenzel. Assistant coaches Mike Evans and Jim Boyle. And the head coach, Paul Westhead. Anthony Cook is not playing tonight due to injury. And now, please welcome your New York Knicks. At guard at 6'3" from St. John's, number 13, Mark Jackson. At guard at 6'6" from Tennessee, Chattanooga, number 21, Gerald Wilson. At forward at 6'6" from Wichita State, number 32, Xavier McDaniel. At forward at 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, Charles Oakley. And at center at 7 feet from Georgetown, number 33, Patrick Ewing. The assistant trainer is Tim Walsh. The head trainer, Mike Saunders. Assistant coaches, Dick Carter, Paul Silence, and Jeff Van Gundy. And the head coach for the Knicks, Pat Riley.
So it's the Knicks 33-19 against the Nuggets 20-32. The much anticipated matchup between Patrick Ewing and Dikembe Mutombo. We asked Ewing about the relationship the two players have enjoyed as friends off the court.
I think we have a very good relationship. You know, we work out a lot together in the summertime. He helps me, I help him. I think we're very good friends. Sometimes, you know, in some respects, we're close as brothers, you know. I kid him because he's from Africa. He kids me because I'm from Jamaica. It's fun. It's fun being around him.
So Patrick Ewing, who met Mutombo in the All-Star game, will now face him in a regular season matchup.
Looks like Patrick is a little pensive, Bruce. He's got to get himself up for this guy. Patrick is a very fierce player, and it's going to be tough for him to be fierce against someone he's so close to.
Here's a look at the records. The Knicks at home, a record of 19-7, and the Nuggets on the road. They won their 4th of the year last night in Washington, 106-99. The officials, Ronnie Nunn, Gary Benson, and Hugh Hollins. Now we get a whistle off the opening tip, and they will do it again.
Officials concurring on that tip, which ended up with Ewing holding the ball. And as a result of that judgment, the Denver Nuggets will inbound the ball.
So it would be Denver ball from side court. And the Nuggets, with Reggie Williams on a recent tear, snapped a 7-game road losing streak yesterday in Washington. Winston Garland, the point guard, in his 5th season, lost his job with Golden State when Tim Hardaway came along. Another Georgetown player on the floor in Reggie Williams, and he hits the first bucket of the ball game.
The new Reggie Williams, at one time Georgetown University's 3rd all-time leading scorer. 4th-round pick of the Clippers 4 years ago. And he was out of the picture after 2 years. No confidence, and he's a different man here.
McDaniel twisting on Williams, and he hits. And Xavier McDaniel, John, has not been in the flow the last couple of games.
No, but he has a setup now with Reggie Williams, who does not have the body and the physical type play to bother Xavier, who went right at him.
Williams with the left-hand floater, rebound Oakley.
It's a very tough matchup for Reggie Williams to be playing against McDaniel.
McDaniel on the baseline, and the foul is called on Williams. That will not count. Foul call before.
Right away, McDaniel and the Knicks are sensing a mismatch they feel strongly favors this man.
Overall, the Knicks have won 10 of 14, but they suffered that disappointing loss at the Garden to the Cleveland Cavs, losing the lead in the 4th quarter. That game on Thursday night. Steal by Garland. Reggie Williams fires for 3. And Jackson throws the ball out of bounds. So Mark looking to spearhead perhaps a running attack, but the errant throw, and Denver gets the ball back.
Knicks will try and run tonight. They are playing a team that played last night. There's always a slight edge coming in anyway to the physical aspect of NBA reality, and that is the Denver Nuggets should be a bit tired.
Jackson goes to the steal, and Garland. Here's Mark Macon. Macon, a rookie. This is a young ball club, and Oakley throws it out of bounds. So a contagious feeling on the offensive end for the Knicks thus far. Back-to-back turnovers. This is a much different Denver ball club. Last year they yielded 131 points per game. This year just 106. And Cadillac Anderson gets the bucket underneath.
They also, Bruce, last year were the leading scoring team in the NBA at 120 a game.
Here's Macon 2-on-1 with Williams. Macon pulls up. And the rebound to Oakland. Gerald Wilkins. Way off the mark. Rebound McDaniel. And he backs it out. And there's McDaniel posting up again on Williams. Next man gets his man in the air, and we get a whistle and a foul call. And we also get a call of an illegal defense. Hugh Holland citing the Denver group on that one, and John Clearly again going back to McDaniel, the Knicks early.
Yes, the Knicks are going to work on that relationship. And Paul Westhead, who I spoke to before the game, knows that that can be a problem, and the Knicks are going at him right away.
The Knicks with 4 turnovers thus far. Wilkins make that 5. 3-on-1. Mutombo fills the lane. Has his own rebound, and he's more assertive with the follow.
Patrick Ewing was not interested at all in challenging Mutombo on that one, and undoubtedly drawing a foul as Mutombo had the position.
20-second timeout called by the Knicks.
Well, it could be a big one for Xavier McDaniel, who was featured today in Clifton Brown's article in the New York Times. And a lot of focus on Xavier's play of late, which has been very inconsistent. In fact, after the game against Cleveland the other day, McDaniel was quoted as saying, "I should have come in street clothes and sat in the stands. It was a waste of time. Maybe I wasn't ready to play." A very interesting, incisive article on his play of late. And tonight it looks like he is really serious about going out and dispelling his play of late. And you can see over the last couple of games he has not been shooting the ball very well, and it goes back even much further than that.
John, against Cleveland in 22 minutes, 3 points and 2 rebounds. 1 for 6 from the field. Knicks down 6-2. So Pat Riley quickly calling a 20-second timeout. He did not like what he saw early, and who can blame him? And another turnover. Reggie Williams goes to the hoop and puts it home, and it's 8-2 Nuggets.
Noted Ewing kind of backing off, too, not challenging Reggie Williams. I think the thing that Ewing fears tonight is getting fouls and sitting on the bench against 2 of the more prominent Georgetown graduates he's playing against tonight.
McDaniel in and out, rebound Garland. And Garland throws it away. And we get a reaching foul on Williams. Knicks have the numbers on the other end. Pretty good foul there. Second team foul on the Nuggets, both on Williams.
Now we note that Dikembe Mutombo has come out guarding Charles Oakley, not Patrick Ewing, who has drawn Cadillac Anderson.
Here's Wilkins inside to Ewing against Anderson. Oakley keeps it alive, but Mutombo finally there to get the rebound, and Mutombo averaging 13.2 boards per game. That's 3rd best in the NBA. Foul is called on the X-Man. So the Knicks struggling on the offensive end. The Nuggets have won as many ball games as a year ago. They are 20-32. Garland open, hit. 10-2 Denver.
Wide open jump shot for Winston Garland, not a hand in his face.
And this time the Knicks will take a full timeout. 7:43 to go in the first quarter. It's been all Denver. Field goal percentage defense improvement, which is always the key number when you're talking about defense, not so much how many points you allow. Knicks off the timeout, trailing 10-2, and Mark Jackson follows his own miss for the bucket.
With Mutombo present as well.
The Knicks with 6 early turnovers. Williams goes against Ewing, dishes to Mutombo. A beautiful play by Reggie Williams.
Nice help by Ewing coming over as well.
Here's Oakley. And he pulls up and hits. Oakley has been playing well the last 3 or 4 ball games, especially on the board.
He's focusing a bit on offense as well, reflected by him being out here early before games, shooting those side jump shots 10, 15 in a row.
And Anderson's jumper from the side counts, and a foul is called. It's on Ewing, his first personal.
Beautiful play moments ago. Williams spinning in the air, hitting Mutombo for the slam dunk.
So the 2 Hoyas convert over the 1 Hoya. And the Nuggets lead at 15-6 with 6:40 to go in the first quarter of play. And as you can see, the Knicks are struggling. Jackson backing in on Garland. And the rebound to Anderson. So with Anderson and Mutombo, Denver with 2 excellent rebounders. Williams, he's not shy. Mutombo gets the rebound. Williams took 27 shots against Charlotte on Wednesday. Here he is again going to the basket. And one of the most improved players in the league has another point. 6 for Reggie Williams.
Yes, he's averaging 18 points a game. The LA Clippers never saw that kind of loose play by Williams.
Ewing double team and foul.
I think if Patrick is affected, well, that seems to be the sign thus far by his relation with Mutombo. He's not freewheeling and intense enough yet.
Williams already with 3 fouls. That's one way to get him to stop shooting. He's already taken 6 shots in 5+ minutes, but now he'll have to sit it out.
That's a very big loss, and I'm sure he very could be out till the half.
And he's replaced by Marcus Liberty. On the turnover, Mark Macon loses it right back to Oakley. 3-on-1. Jackson loses to Liberty.
He tried to do too much in the air with the ball.
Garland, he hits. And the Nuggets are smoking. They lead it by 13 points, 19-6. Anthony Mason getting set to report in for the Knicks. Ewing against Anderson. Mutombo with the block, but that's goaltending. John, 2 matchups here look to be in the Knicks' favor. One is Jackson against Garland. The other one is Ewing against Anderson.
Well, Ewing going to it also right over Anderson, no problem. Mutombo arrives, but it is a goaltend.
Anderson looks like he might have shuffled his feet, but it's tipped in by Mutombo.
No box out on the big guy.
21-8 Denver. Wilkins, he hits. This is the 4th game of a 5-game road trip for the Nuggets. They've played twice already this week, including last night, but they look fresh. Liberty goes flat, and the ball goes out of bounds to New York. And for the next start, Vandeweghe and Mason all report in.
Pat Riley not liking what he is seeing with his team, which is reflected on the scoreboard. So 3 subs coming in now.
And in recent games, Vandeweghe's been able to give the Knicks the lift, especially when they were struggling offensively. Had 17 against Sacramento and 17 against Cleveland. Jackson against Garland. Rebound Mason, and he puts it in.
Beautiful penetrating move by Mark Jackson set that up.
Knicks down by 9. And now the Nuggets won a 20-second timeout. Paul Westhead animated on the sideline. This program authorized by Madison Square Garden Production Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event without the express written consent of Madison Square Garden Production Incorporated is prohibited. Bruce Beck and John Andres at Madison Square Garden. The Denver Nuggets coming to town. This is the first meeting of the year between these two teams. And Denver on this road trip has won 1 and lost 2. The Knicks, meanwhile, will go on the road this coming week, John, and that should be a challenging trip, especially at the beginning.
Yes, the Phoenix Suns at home will be very tough. They have a couple of all-stars, Hornacek and Marley, and they want to get back at the Knicks. The stumbling Lakers, however, are the team at home Wednesday to welcome back Pat Riley to Los Angeles, and then the Kings, who the Knicks saw last week.
Three-pointer by Garland, rebounded by Ewing. Knicks going with Jackson, Mason, Vandeweghe, Starks, and Ewing. Jackson throws it out of bounds. 9 turnovers in less than 9 minutes for the Knicks.
And not because of the Denver defense. The Knicks are sloppy in the first quarter.
Marcus Liberty, where the Nuggets feel might be their best athlete. Jackson takes it away. He goes in by himself.
Take it over Mark Jackson. One-hand dunking, Bruce. You know, you don't think of him as a leaper, but he really gets up.
He added 3 inches over the summer to his vertical leap. Lost some pounds. It really proved to be a difference. The combo, Ewing forced him to miss that one. Here's Mason. And the around-the-back feed never made it to Vandeweghe. Garland stops. He misses, and it's back and forth, end-to-end basketball. Vandeweghe, spot shot. Rebound Macon. The pace is furious. Matombo. Ewing knocks it away. Anderson with the putback.
No body on Anderson. Vandeweghe was there, but Anderson at 6'10" has a lot of muscle.
John, I thought you said the Nuggets slowed things down this year.
They're only averaging 100 points a game versus 120 last year, but they've come to run tonight.
They could get away with a 15-second shot clock thus far.
4 Knicks standing.
Shot clock down to 3. Another sloppy pass by Jackson, and Matombo has the ball. Jackson's gotten caught on penetration often in this first quarter. Coming up on 2 minutes to go, 23-14 Nuggets. Matombo knocked away by Mason, and Starks is hacked by Mark Macon, who picks up the foul. Time out on the court, Nuggets 23, Knicks 14. We'll be right back.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by Sharp Electronics Corporation. From sharp minds come sharp products.
A real winner knows how to party right. Please use good sense when you drink and know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser.
Denver Nuggets lead the New York Knicks 23-14. Knicks have committed 11 turnovers, and up front it's been all Denver, 19-8 on the front line. 7 for Anderson, 6 for Williams, 6 for Matombo. Williams is on the bench with 3 fouls. Greg Anthony has reported for the Knicks for the first time, so the only starter remaining is Patrick Ewing. Anthony, Starks, Mason, and Vandeweghe have joined him on the court for the Knicks. Anthony in the penetration. And the rebound pulled down by Marcus Liberty. Knicks getting only 1 shot on the offensive end. Garland is 5th year from Southwest Missouri State. No one expected him to be running a show this year, but he's done an admirable job in Denver. Not great, but solid. There's James Donaldson, who should make his Knicks debut tonight. Arrived today from Denver, and he's looking forward to playing with this ball club. Macon goes glass for 2. Mark Macon with his first bucket second of the game. He's averaging 10.7 per ball game. Donaldson arrived from Dallas, not Denver, I should say. Ewing is open and connects on the jump shot. Cuts the lead to 25-16 inside a minute to go.
Mutombo came at him rather gently on that shot by Ewing.
Mutombo dishing off. Garland. Mutombo from long range. Mason with the rebound. Away for three. Macon gets the long rebound set up by Ewing, popping it out. A beautiful move by Mark Macon.
That was a gamble by Patrick Ewing, naturally intended for one of his teammates, but it went into the wrong hands.
Macon's field goal percentage is not good at 37%, but he is athletic and he is a streak shooter. Ewing across the lane. 9-foot over Mutombo. And it's a 9-point Nugget lead with 13 seconds to go. Garland against Anthony. Down to 3. And a whistle and a traveling violation call with 0.6 seconds remaining in this first quarter of play. Chris Jackson on the floor for the first time, along with Joe Wolf for the Nuggets. Mutombo gets a breather, as does Garland. 6/10 of a second remaining in the quarter. Anthony, he won't get it off. It was all Denver in the first quarter of play. They lead the Knicks 27-18. Dikembe Mutombo of the Denver Nuggets was NBA Rookie of the Month for November and January, and I asked Dikembe at the NBA draft what kind of pro he expected to be.
I think I will be a great player.
A great player?
I think I have the opportunity to be a great player, and you have a great pro career. That's what I can tell you. And I'm looking forward to make a Rookie of the Year next year.
John, he had the confidence back then.
Very clearly, and I would say, Bruce, he looks very correct in assessing his potential.
Vandeweghe open as we begin the second quarter, and he buries the side jumper. Knicks within 7. Now it's Chris Jackson at the point for the Nuggets. Making his backcourt mate. Marcus Liberty up front with Joe Wolf and Greg Anderson. And Ewing knocks it away off Anderson's leg. And the Knicks trying to get a little bit charged up here from this capacity crowd at the Garden. The Knicks clearly lethargic in the first quarter. 11 turnovers. Starks missing. Rebounded Vandeweghe. Ewing back to Kiki, and he hits.
Nice pass back by Ewing to Vandeweghe, not trying to force his shots.
Vandeweghe has made 14 of 20 from the field in his last 2 games, averaging 17 per game. Chris Jackson will not be shy about putting up the ball. He is not a playmaker. And Mark Macon connects on the jump shot. Macon with 6. Anderson trying to stop Ewing, and he's called for the hold. And that is the first personal on Greg Cadillac Anderson. Now Todd Lichty replaces Mark Macon in the Nuggets backcourt. Lichty in his 3rd year from Stanford's had a difficult pro career, been bothered by injuries. Also had some personal tragedies along the way. He was driving a car with his girlfriend, and he was involved in a car accident with his girlfriend, and his girlfriend was killed. And it took Lichty a while to recover from that. Here's Anthony. He misses. Mason works the offensive glass. Starks penetrates and loses the ball, but he is held as he went through there. It's on Lichty. His first personal foul, and John Starks will head to the line for 2. Starks had only 7 points against Cleveland, 2 for 8 from the field in 29 minutes. Trying to refine that shooting touch lately.
Greg Anthony a little hesitant these days shooting the threes. He's now 0 for 14.
Nuggets by 6, 29-23, 10-12 to go second quarter. Anderson against Ewing. Good hands by Ewing, knocks it away. Anthony, bounce pass to Stark.
What a sensational sequence. What a pass by Greg Anthony.
And that is the best type of pass to handle when you're on the run, right off the hardwood.
Now this man's job, Chris Jackson, who came into the league as a high scorer, is to come out here and do it for Denver. Paul Westhead told me before the game, he said, I put him in as Reggie Williams hits a tough jump shot flat-footed. I put him in, I give him 5 minutes. If he scores, he stays in. If not, he comes back out. We try it again.
Ewing recovers. Reggie Williams is playing with 3 fouls for the Nuggets. Ewing, 3, connect. Eight points for Ewing. John, should they be looking for Ewing against Anderson in this matchup every time down the floor?
I would think you've got to get him going.
Jackson falls away and he hits it.
Looks like he'll be around for a while, Bruce.
It looks like he enjoys shooting. Chris Jackson averaging 11 points per game in 19 minutes. Stark goes last for 2, and the Knicks are starting to heat up. Anderson goes down the middle, and he puts it up and in. So the Nuggets up by 6, 35-29. A little bit of spark from this club on the floor for New York. Ewing against Anderson. All night Patrick is saying. And a timeout called by Paul Westhead. So Ewing has hit 5 of 6, and the Knicks are within 4.
The Coca-Cola Concert Series presents Dick Fox's first annual Doo-Wop Festival at the Paramount, Saturday, February 29th at 8 p.m. See 10 of the greatest names in classic street corner style music, including the Platters and the Cadillacs. Tickets available at the Garden Box Office and all Ticketmaster locations. To charge, call 212-307-7171.
Did you say the Cadillacs?
I did.
There is a singular Cadillac on the floor tonight for the Nuggets. Greg Cadillac Anderson. 35-31, the Nuggets leading by 4 points. Bruce Beck, John Andres, Mike Green, and Walt Frazier at Madison Square Garden. First matchup of the year between these two clubs. They split the 2 meetings a year ago. Reggie Williams fires, air ball.
Thanks to
Oakley.
John Starks' intensity on defense.
Starks goes in, has the basket and a foul. And for the first time, James Donaldson reports as a member of the Knicks. Nice warm ovation from the crowd.
Dynamite plays at both ends of the court by John Starks, forcing Reggie Williams into a bad shot. Reggie Williams now has 4 fouls. That will be the end of him for quite a while.
Starks converts the 3-point play. The Knicks are within 1.
Williams on the court now, but will come out at the next whistle.
Ball goes out of bounds. Marcus Liberty back in for Denver. And Reggie Williams will sit with the 4 personals. A lot of coaches won't play somebody, John, in the first half with 3.
Yes, Paul Westhead took a chance and lost the gamble.
Marcus Liberty to Todd Lichty. And the rebound to Oakley.
Westhead also told me before the game, we do not win games unless Reggie Williams makes the big shots. So they've gotten used to having him on the court.
Anthony fires. Ball won't go down for him. Rebound to Lichty. Jackson connects from long range. This team's got a lot of outside shooting. Nuggets 37, Knicks 34. Jackson, Williams, Lichty, Macon, a lot of guys who can put it up. Good pass to Vandeweghe by Anthony, but he can't convert, and Mutombo clears the board. And Mark Marcus Liberty with a sweet jumper from the left baseline. 4 straight for the Nuggets. They lead it again by 5 after the Knicks had closed to 1. Denver's biggest lead in this first half was 13. Donaldson touching the ball for the first time, knocked away by Liberty. Jackson, good. 3 for 3 for Chris Jackson off the bench.
He knows his role. Westhead said, get out there and shoot. That's his role every game. And if he's on, he stays on the court. And that's why we've been seeing, and the Knicks have been seeing, a lot of Chris Jackson.
Denver by 7. We'll be back.
Advance in automotive technology.
This call to the bench is brought to you by New York Telephone, who reminds you the New York Telephone regional calling area is bigger than you think. Knicks getting good help off the bench, particularly in the second quarter. 12 of their 14 points off the bench in the second quarter. Starks on the good defense earlier this quarter, and he came down at the other end and wrapped up a nice sequence with offense as well on that drive.
Oakley, Wilkins, McDaniel back on the court for the Knicks, along with Donaldson and Anthony. Denver on a 6-0 run. Anthony penetrates. Double pump move over Mutombo.
Very impressive drive. He didn't need the backboard on that one, Bruce. He went straight to the rim and in.
He challenged the big man, and he won. Garland backing in on Anthony. Anthony hounding him. Good defensive job, and we get a whistle. It's on Donaldson. That's his first foul as a Knick.
Greg Anthony's last drive took him right to the presence of Mutombo, who was unable to deny him.
He had that tiny Archibald spin, John, from left to right. Mutombo backing in on Donaldson. Mutombo shot good.
Over the double team. I'm surprised how he got that shot up with 2 people on him.
Mutombo's had trouble with big burly centers this year, so I'm sure he's not thrilled to see Donaldson now again. Saw him earlier when he was in Dallas. Oakley with the offensive board. 7-point Denver lead, 5:20 to go, second quarter of play. Oakley fires, he hits.
Practice makes perfect. Charles has been practicing a lot lately from that exact position, and he's shooting the ball well.
Oakley with 4 points on 2 for 3. He also has 7 rebounds. 5-point lead for the Nuggets. Mutombo backing in on Donaldson. Donaldson using his body. Make it. Rebound Anderson all alone, and he puts it in.
That is a total breakdown of defensive responsibility on the part of the Knicks.
So it's back to a 7-point lead for Denver. Oakley will take another outside shot, and he buries it. So Charles Oakley has made 3 field goals tonight, John, all from 18 to 20 feet. And that's a backcourt violation on Macon. Called by Ronnie Nunn. Mark Jackson replaces Greg Anthony. Good stint there for Anthony. Looked confident handling the ball, and he has had some trouble the last couple of games. Plus all the talk of trade rumors had to take a little bit of toll on a rookie. And he handled it well. Jackson to McDaniel. The X-Man pulls up, and the Knicks are heating up as they pull to within 45-42. Ewing getting set to report back in. Donaldson and Mutombo are doing their impression of a wedding walk.
Both 7-2 players. Mutombo getting away from Donaldson, but he is broken down physically by Donaldson's body.
McDaniel loses control. Ball goes out of bounds off the Knicks. John Donaldson did a superb job that last time of just pounding him with his physical frame. And he gets a nice round of applause from the crowd. And that's what the Knicks got him for. That backup for Ewing, 5 or 6 meaningful minutes, throwing his body around, and that's what he did.
Pat Riley handling it nicely as well, giving him a little introduction, not asking too much from him.
Marcus Liberty against McDaniel. Shot clock is down to 4. Anderson backing in. Not a good shot.
Oakley play him well.
Rebound Mutombo against Ewing. Offensive foul. The basket will not count. Ewing played him just right, just like in the gym during the summer.
Yes, Mutombo will charge into Patrick Ewing after he beats him for that ball. Looked like he was setting himself up, but Patrick Ewing was so close to him, it was a defensive or an offensive foul, rather.
Under 3 minutes to go, first half of play. Nuggets have led almost the entire way. They lead by 3. McDaniel missing. Ewing with the tip. Over the combo.
That ought to loosen up Patrick. He's been a little tight out there with his protege, but that was some sensational tip-in.
And a timeout called by the Denver Nuggets. Paul Westhead wants to talk it over. So Ewing with 12 points, and the Knicks have pulled within 1, 45-44.
Ewing on that follow-up tip. Boy, that's a tough shot to execute to the success Ewing did without committing the foul, although in replay it looks like Mutombo took a bit of a bump on that.
So Ewing taught him a lesson on the defensive end, and then he comes down and goes over him for the tip. Patrick Ewing with 12 points and 3 rebounds. Dikembe Mutombo with 8 points and 6 rebounds. Ewing has made his last 6 field goal attempts. The Knicks have never led this ball game. They trail by 1, 2:33 to go in the first half. Making it Garland, that Denver backcourt. Mutombo bumped by Oakley. Good defense. But Mutombo, he can shoot over you without even jumping much. He's so tall.
He seemed to get desperate, but still had so much poise at the end of that shot attempt by making it.
Jackson goes all the way. Tipped in by Oakley. So the Knicks doing a much better on the offensive glass than they did in the first quarter. And it translates to a 1-point game again. A lot of pushing and shoving away from the ball, and Oakley held the combo that time. John, you're in a dilemma either way because of the size of the combo. If you try to push him out, he can still get over you with his arms. I mean, how do you play him?
Got to deny him the position. That's what Ewing is trying to do right now.
Chris Jackson back in the backcourt for Denver. Liberty.
Ewing doing a perfect job beating Mutombo to the position he wanted.
Knicks with very good individual defense in that last possession. 11 seconds on the shot clock. Nobody could penetrate. Here's Jackson. He fires for 3. Rebound Ewing. And then he loses it out of bounds. And it will be Denver ball. And Patrick looks to be a bit shaken up.
Ewing swept that rebound down way up in the air. Down takes a shot on the head, it looks like, at the end of all that motion.
Inbound play. Jackson buries the jumper. Doesn't take him long. He's got such a quick release. And Denver leads 49-46. Ewing trying to work the pick and roll again. X-Man open for the jumper. Ewing rebound, and he tips it home, but Combo had fallen on the floor, and Ewing still trying to shake off that last little bit of an injury on the other end of the court. Knicks within 1. Takes a lot for Ewing to leave the game. Remember against Sacramento, he came down, gave the Knicks a scare, but never left the court. Mutombo with the offensive rebound. And the Knicks are called for the foul.
He soared to get that basketball.
We are seeing some fine individual plays.
Long rebound fell into his hands as he moved to the basket.
Coming up at halftime, Mike Breen and Walt Clyde Frazier will have highlights. We'll check in at the MSG Sports Desk with the Bullet Bob Page. Dikembe Mutombo at the line.
Last year, he was 4th in the nation in shot blocks. What a quick adjustment. He's 5th in the NBA now. In his first season, he was the Big East Defensive Player of the Year as a senior last year at Georgetown. And to everyone's surprise, similar to Patrick Ewing, he's a much greater offensive force by far than anyone could have anticipated.
And that's one of the things that Denver noted, one of the reasons they picked Mutombo. They said Thompson said that Ewing's going to be a better offensive player in the pros. He said the same thing about Mutombo. They heard that immediately. They knew who they wanted, and they were lucky to get him at number 4 because they would have picked him if they had the number 1 pick. Just one of those things. Wilkins to an open Ewing. Nice lay-in. And the Knicks forward in 1 with 30 seconds to go in the first half. Knicks have never led, trailed by as many as 13 points. Now we got a jump ball between McDaniel and Liberty.
McDaniel proud to put up the hands, showing that it is a jump ball. Paul Westhead not happy about it at all.
Paul Westhead coached the Lakers to a world championship. Pat Riley was his assistant coach on the bench, 1980. Jackson gets the ball. Shot clock. Right on with the game clock. We're at 16 seconds or so. Final seconds of the first half. Jackson on Jackson. Loses the ball. McDaniel has it. And the Knicks will get a chance here. Jackson for Ewing and a slam! And the Knicks have their first lead with 3.8 seconds remaining. Macon fires. And that will do it. So the Knicks, for the first time in the ball game, have the lead. And they go into the locker room on a high.
Good defense by Oakley. McDaniel on the retrieve. Mark Jackson looks up. The head is always up, and he finds Ewing on the beautiful lead pass.
Wow, was that ball up high in the air for an alley-oop? 52-51. The Knicks have the lead at the half over the Denver Nuggets. We'll be back in just a moment.
One of them is up there, part of them is down there. One of our loveliest cooperative.
6. In fact, Louis and company ran off a 16-2 run to start this game, and here's the play that capped it. Redmond on the break. Chucky Sproling pulls up for a 3-point shot, and the hero of the Syracuse win earlier this week cans it. Now, Seton Hall, which is just a half game back of St. John's in a tie for 3rd place, is playing in suburban Philadelphia tonight, and the Hall losing to the Villanova Wildcats 19-11, though that's early in the opening half. And there are 2 other Big East games in progress. Connecticut trying to break that awful slump they've been in, losing at home to Providence 22-18 in the opening half, and Miami just underway on Chestnut Hill against Boston College. In some local results from today, Fordham temporarily took over sole possession of 1st place in the Patriot League when they won at Army. Rutgers lost to Duquesne, and Mac leader Manhattan simply walloped struggling St. Peter's 73-48. Nationally, John McLeod and his Notre Dame Fighting Irish led UCLA by 7 at halftime after they let the Bruins get back in the game. LaFonso Ellis converts an alley-oop from Keith Tower. ND on top by 2. Ellis finished with 22 points and 12 rebounds. This jam counts even though it came right back out off his head. Notre Dame outscored UCLA 21-4 in the final minutes of the nationally televised game to win in the upset. And North Carolina lost at home to NC State today. Now
this. Sports Desk is brought to you by Old Spice Pump Deodorant. Pump up your odor prevention with Old Spice Pump.
Ever wonder why your face hurts after you shave? It's simple. When you shave, you lose.
Greg Anthony doing the job.
Yeah, that time Ewing stripping Cadillac. Anthony, a dazzling pass starts off the glass, so transition hoops started to hurt the Nuggets.
The Knicks had 10 first-quarter turnovers, part of it due to some good Denver defense.
And Mark Mason, outstanding defensive player, just a rookie out of Temple, but this time it's Garland with the strip, so he leads the team in dishing. And there Mutombo, persistent, persevering underneath, there with the good stuff. So that's his forte, Mike, just hustle and muscle.
That's why Mutombo's play has overshadowed some pretty solid play from Greg Cadillac Anderson this year.
Yeah, the Cadillac has an overhaul since he's been traded from the Nets. Here you see him working inside, also averaging 11 rebounds per game.
Now, the Knicks were down by as many as 13 points in the first quarter. Mutombo looked sharp. Give me your impressions after seeing him now for first half.
I like him. He's still learning offensively, but defensively he intimidates. He's steadfast in going to the offensive glass, and Ewing hasn't boxed him out as much as he should, and I think the second half he has to concentrate more against Mutombo.
Knicks trailing the entire first half, but able to come back strong late second quarter. Now they have a 1-point lead, 52-51. They lead the Nuggets here at the Garden on this Saturday night. Second half coming up next.
Trust is something you earn.
Arnold Palmer for Jiffy Lube.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by the people at Nike, who encourage you to just do it.
Knicks were down 13 early and down by 9 after one quarter, but a strong second quarter, and they have the lead, leading the Nuggets 52-51 here at halftime. But let's get some more first half stats. Send it back to Bruce Beck and John Andres.
Thank you very much, Mike Breen. So there's your score at the half. The Knicks with their first lead in the ball game.
Knicks finally got the touch after a shaky start, and they've made this thing very interesting by getting the lead at halftime after trailing. Second quarter field goal percentage dramatically different for the Knicks. 67%, 16 out of 24. Nuggets doing okay as well, though, over 50%. Knicks dominating the rebounding department. Charles Oakley leading the way for the Knicks. 8 rebounds to go with his 8 points. Too many turnovers, however, for the Knicks, and that cost them 12 points. And the free throw department low for New York, certainly, and for the Nuggets as well. That's a rare sight.
That's
3
amazing.
foul shots apiece.
8 fouls by Denver and 5 by the Knicks.
We take a look now at our Toyota matchup. As you might expect, the primary people are the centers for both teams. Patrick Ewing with an excellent first half. 9 out of 10 to go with 6 rebounds. The rookie, Dikembe Mutombo, not too far behind, however. Solid first half for the rookie. 12 points, 7 rebounds.
Ewing made his last 9 from the field. And he made a couple of brilliant plays, one on the defensive side, then that tip over Mutombo. That play looms large in the first half. You get the feeling, though, the Knicks picked it up into a different gear late in the second quarter, and they would like to continue that here in the third quarter of play. They're playing a Denver ball club, which is tired, which played last night. See if the Knicks can capitalize on that early in the third quarter. Paul Westhead. What a dreadful first year he went through in Denver, but this year 20 and 32, respectability. And here we go, third quarter of play. The Knicks open with their same lineup that started the game: Jackson, Wilkins, Ewing, McDaniel, and Oakley. Garland has the basketball for the Nuggets. Garland making Mutombo, Anderson, and Reggie Williams for Denver. Reggie Williams with 4 fouls and 8 points. Anderson outside to Reggie Williams. Anderson backing against Ewing. And the shot is off just before the 24-second buzzer, and a foul is called on the Knicks.
The coaching staff had to be very pleased, however, with the defensive rotation underneath the basket, as help kept arriving to wherever the ball was. The people that were open were then guarded quickly by fast-moving Knick big men.
So that was a tough break, and Anderson hits the first of 2 free throws. Anderson had a big January, shot 54% from the field and averaged 14 points and 12 boards. He's in his 5th year, but with his 4th team. He hopes to have found a home here in Denver. McDaniel backing in against Macon. Blocked by Mutombo. Good weak side help. Macon pulls up, and he hits the floater.
Tough shot, one-handed on the run, right close to the basket.
Macon at 18 last night against Washington, making 8 for 12 from the field. Tonight he has 8. Gerald Wilkins isolated against Reggie Williams, outside to Mark Jackson. Oakley is open. And an air ball. He had hit 3 of those shots early in the game.
Denver made a defensive adjustment now with this guy, Mark Macon, on McDaniel.
Garland throws it away.
Paul Westhead before the game told me, projecting Macon's future, he said, I think in 3 years or so, Macon will be on the All-NBA defensive team, and he's now getting a chance to show his good defensive skills on Xavier.
Mark Jackson on the penetration. Oakley to McDaniel against Macon. Matchup John just alluded to. McDaniel, 3. And he misses, and the rebound for the little man, Winston Garland. Garland pops. Rebound to Oakley. You know, in a game where there's such big people on the floor, a lot of the rebounds may be ones that go off the fingertips of a Ewing or a Mutombo. Good feed, Jackson to a wide-open McDaniel.
I tell you, credit to McDaniel for seeing that coming and being ready. That was a very quickly executed pass from Jackson.
So the Knicks forward in 1, 55-54. 9.5 to go, third quarter of play. Bruce Beck and John Andres from Madison Square Garden tonight. Sellout crowd, 19,763. Second in a row, 11th of the year for the Knicks. Garland pops. And that's the shot the Knicks want. McDaniel with the board. Jackson spinning in transition. Wide open, Oakley. And the ball goes out of bounds to New York.
That's the kind of board presence, rebounding presence the Knicks want to see from Xavier McDaniel, who gave a solid effort on that.
Not the McDaniel who had only 7 rebounds in the last 2 games. Ewing backing in. The floater. Good. And the Knicks lead by 1. And McDaniel knocks away the ball. And what's the call? Diving for it, Mutombo, but he lost it. Dikembe animated his upset. So Mark Jackson has been pretty quiet in the game. Has only 4. To Gerald Wilkins. Wilkins loses the ball. Reggie Williams has it. And a blocking foul is called on Patrick Ewing. That is the 3rd foul on Ewing.
One of the areas that is a problem for Gerald Wilkins sometimes is when he dribbles the ball too much and then he tries to get slick with it. He loses control of it.
Garland back to the Nuggets. Williams fires for 3. Rebound Ewing. Here's Mark Jackson. Knicks are 19-7 at home. And a foul call before that move by McDaniel. It's a holding foul on Macon. But the Knicks have won only 8 of their last 15 at the Garden. Trying to add to that total tonight.
Macon, who we're looking at now, is showing physicality on defense. He's a guy who plays the guard position, but now he's been given the job of handling McDaniel, a strong 6'8" forward, and he's answering the call by playing very tough physically.
Jackson just missing. Ewing gets the rebound. And Ewing wants it. He's got Anderson. Patrick isolated with Anderson. Jackson saves. And Wilkins is open for 3. He hits. And back on the other end, another pressure play. Mutombo finally picks it up, way off the mark. And the rebound to Oakley. Knicks with a 4-point lead. 4-on-2 break. Jackson to McDaniel. And he loses it to Garland. And all by himself in the combo. What a wild ball game this is now. Jackson to Ewing. Timeout, Denver. The Knicks with their biggest lead of the night, 61-55. It came off of playground fast break basketball.
Heads-up play by Charles Oakley. Stealing that long pass intended for Mutombo. Charles makes the commitment, dribbles the ball very well, and then dishes it to Mark Jackson, who knew before he got that ball what he was going to do with it.
So the Knicks on a spirited 9-0 run, and they go up 61-55. Oakley looks like a defensive back. Nobody saw him back there, and Charles just jumped in, and the Knicks had the numbers. So for the first time tonight, a bit of breathing room for the Knicks, a 6-point margin. Macon to Anderson, double team, puts it up. Ewing got a piece of it. Jackson gets it. Nice save to Wilson. 4-on-2 again. Here's McDaniel from Jackson.
You know, it's odd to say a player is hot as an assist man, but Mark Jackson is hot, and he's not scoring. He's giving out the points.
Good point, John. 11 assists for Jackson. And it's 63-55, an 11-0 run for New York. The Mutombo loses it. Jackson takes it away. And then a foul call. It's against the Nuggets. It's on Mutombo, his second personal. So Jackson fueling this run by New York.
That's 5 assists for him in the third quarter with 6:21 left.
Good double down there by Jackson. Timeout. Knicks by 8.
Taking a look at frontline scoring brought to you by Dutch Boy in the paint. In the first quarter, the Knicks were outscored up close, but since then, a whole different story. 32-16 in favor of the Knicks.
The Knicks with the ball and an 8-point lead. And the Knicks shooting 5 for 11 this quarter, and the Nuggets have made only 1 field goal. Knicks are still on an 11-0 burst. Reggie Williams fires. Rebound to Mutombo. Back to Williams. And he hits. 10 points for Reggie Williams. 63-57. Jackson penetrates. Here's McDaniel. Unselfish look to Wilkins. And he misses the rainbow. Jackson gets it back. Loose ball finally picked up by Anderson. Williams for 3. Ewing has trouble with the ball on the side with Macon. And Wilkins picks it up. 3-on-2, Jackson at the control. Wilkins puts it in. It will count. And a foul is called, but he never intended to do that.
How did that go in the basket, Bruce? Gerald is whispering how, I would assume, to Xavier, taking another look at it. Good effort, though, by all concerned, trying to get that loose ball. Jackson senses the momentum Wilkins has. Oh, Gerald, once in a lifetime you make those.
Gerald Wilkins converts. And it is 66-57. Williams. John. Reggie Williams. Mutombo's been quiet this quarter. Macon. He misses. And Williams gets it back. Nuggets have gone cold from the outside, and Garland draws the foul. He'll shoot 2.
One of the areas this team hurts in is outside shooting from their guards, making 36% from the field. Garland 42, almost 43%. That's far below what's acceptable for outside shooting by guards.
Nuggets are 0 for 7 from three-point land in this game. Garland hits the first. He has 5 points. He is from Southwest Missouri State. Played with Golden State, the LA Clippers, and now with Denver.
Ideally suited to be a third guard coming off the bench, according to Paul Westhead. But he has drawn the starting guard position.
And with Chris Jackson not really being a point guard, he's getting more minutes. Knicks by 7. McDaniel. He hits. 10 points for the X. And a 9-point Knick lead. Mutombo and Ewing. Mutombo loses the ball. Denver will keep possession, however. Todd Lickey replaces Macon in the Denver lineup. There's Mark Macon. You know, he was so good as a freshman at Temple that people said he wasn't that good as a senior. It was just that the expectations were so high. And his shooting wasn't great, but I'll tell you, he was a heck of a college player. 5-second violation called against the Nuggets. And the Knicks with a chance to open things up here now in the third quarter, leading by 9 with the ball. 4:09 to play. Mark Jackson penetrates. Knocked away, but goaltending called. Is that the teardrop that
Yes,
you've been known to describe it with?
As Marv described the other night, he fell into that teardrop word. That ball was on the way down. Softly put up by Mark Jackson. Had you seen it kiss the rim, you'd get a better visualization of the teardrop effect, Bruce.
But with that type of loft, if you're going to block it, it's going to be goaltending. It's going to be called every single time. The Knicks on an 18-4 burst. Shot clock down to 3. Garland way off the mark, and the rebound to Oakley. Jackson in transition. Looks for McDaniel, knocked away by Williams.
What a good example of peripheral vision at work. Jackson going the other way, left to right, and he saw McDaniel get open for a split second. Got him.
Jackson loses it. Jump ball call.
Should say got him in his vision. McDaniel almost got the pass.
24 assists for the Knicks, 13 for the Nuggets. Big difference there. Now, one of the reasons the Nuggets come down and they fire from the outside, the Knicks have been looking to enhance their position on the court. Todd Lickey and Mark Jackson. Jackson moves the jump.
Up quickly.
Jackson with 13 assists in the game. And he is looking to work on Garland. Jackson backs him in. Ewing fires. And a loose ball foul called as Cadillac Anderson fought for it, along with Oakley, and Oakley was called for the foul. Ewing in the ball game, 11 for 14, 22 points and 9 rebounds. Mutombo, 12 points, 8 rebounds.
I would say that's the proper proportion of teacher to student. Ewing being the teacher and Mutombo the student.
Williams drives. Basket counts and a foul is called. Good move by Reggie Williams. And we get a timeout with 2:47 to go in the third. The Knicks lead it by 9.
Patrick Ewing inside, working hard on Mutombo, who is a very earnest worker himself. Reggie Williams broke through, scoring a shot on the run. goes to the foul line now. Reggie in his 5th season. As far as he's concerned, cross off the first 4 that was spent with the Clippers, a little bit with San Diego, and then Denver. He's a different player, scoring 18 a game now, more than he's ever scored before, and shooting the ball at 47%, best he's ever done.
McDaniel gives to Wilkins, who slams it over Mutombo. That was impressive.
Mutombo did not attack at all. He just stood there, and Gerald attacked and got it done.
72-62 with 2:25 to go in the third. Mutombo knocked away by Ewing. Mutombo gets it back. Fall away. Good. I'm surprised with his shooting touch from 10 or 12 feet, John.
Yes. Also, after a lot of defensive interference, it doesn't seem to upset what he wants to do.
8-point ball game. Knicks with the lead. Jackson around the back to Ewing. Play worked effectively the other night here at the Garden against Sacramento, and then Oakley gets the ball, and a foul is called. Joe Wolf back in the game for the Nuggets. Anthony Mason getting set to report in, but he will replace Oakley, so he will remain at the table. And John, what will be interesting is now that James Donaldson has arrived, what will happen to Mason's minutes and Tim McCormick's minutes?
Well, the way it has worked for the Knicks till Donaldson arrives is that Oakley slides over to back up Ewing most of the time, and then Mason comes in and takes Oakley's position. Now, Donaldson, it would appear, / Tim McCormick will back up Ewing, both of those guys, with Donaldson seemingly to have the edge. So the question now is Mason limited to strictly backing up Oakley? Mason has averaged over 26 minutes a game this year.
But he handles well enough to play the 3 position, doesn't he?
Yes, he does defensively, and when the team needs rebounding and defense, but the 3 position is normally a scoring position, and that is not his best qualities. He is not a scoring forward.
So it's an interesting lineup on the court now. It's McDaniel, Oakley, and Mason across the front line, and Jackson and Starks in the back court with 1:50 to go in the third quarter of play. Mutombo looks inside, knocked away. Mason and Starks combine. Starks with the ball. He beats Jackson, and he lays it in.
Talk about peripheral vision. John Starks showed he has it. Yes, right now Pat Riley's sticking with the formula pre-Donaldson, with Oakley playing pivot.
A sensational third quarter for Mark Jackson. Todd Licky missing. Dikembe Mutombo with the offensive rebound, but traveling is called.
He's getting a banging from Mason, and he came up strong. He's got a lot of determination on his face. Doesn't want to lose his cool, but he looks like he's borderline in that area.
That's where right now he is a little bit weak, being banged around by the more experienced, more physical NBA players. It's going to take him time.
Oakley comes down and puts his elbow right in his chest.
Starks with it. Starks penetrates, feeds Oakley, blocking foul called on Denver. Oakley is getting an excellent position close to the basket.
Mutombo speaking to the officials now in very animated fashion. He's showing a short fuse, which is not necessarily bad at all, but he's getting angry. Starks in a one-on-one situation, showing his speed around Reggie Williams. Mutombo comes over to help.
The linguistics major who speaks 5 languages, in which language do you think he spoke to the official there? Starks missing the first free throw. Mutombo probably enjoys conversing with Westhead, who has a master's in English and is a respected scholar of Shakespearean literature. The 2 of them must get together for some interesting conversation. 1 minute to go, third quarter. Knicks 76, Nuggets 64. Ewing with 22 to lead the Knicks. Jackson with the rebound, with Stark and McDaniel. And the X-Man fills the lane and gets the deuce. 14-point lead. Licky on the other end, offensive foul.
Got to be that way because Charles Oakley had the position. And Charles has no problem with people running into him. He can take the blow and bounce right up. That's how strong he is.
So Pat Riley, who saw the Knicks club come out a little bit sluggish and very sloppy, now sees his ball club opening things up here in the third quarter by 14.
2-1 Knicks in the third quarter.
McDaniel outside the Starks. McDaniel dishing off to Oakley. And a foul call. Knicks have been very unselfish in this quarter offensively.
Yes, they're hitting the open man continually. And that's why that assist total has gone up. Mark Jackson has spearheaded that effort. You alluded to Mutombo's speaking 5 languages, Bruce, moments ago. Specifically, he speaks French, English, Portuguese, Spanish, and 5 African dialects. A well-rounded young man.
Mark Jackson gets a big round of applause from the Garden crowd, along with Charles Oakley, as Greg Anthony and James Donaldson check in. And some smiles from that Knicks bench. It was a quarter in which the players could smile. The Knicks played that well. 80-64. At the half, it was a 1-point Knicks lead. Chris Jackson against Greg Anthony. Final seconds of the third quarter. Jackson fires. Lixie keeps it alive. Anthony has the ball. 2 seconds to go. And that's the way the quarter will end. So the Knicks outscoring Denver 28-9, and they have a big lead at the end of 3.
Here's Jackson firing. Yes! Unbelievable! Mark Jackson.
Players, he was great with video work, and as you know, that year we won the championship, and he was a very big part of that. So coaching almost seemed natural to him.
So Coach Paul Westhead talking about Pat Riley, and the two worked together with the Los Angeles Lakers. To the action, 80-66, Knicks by 14. Denver shot 4 for 17 in the third quarter of play.
There's Todd Lixie on that last side jumper for Denver.
And Ronnie Nunn has a foul here. It's on Donaldson. He's tough to miss out there. Second foul on Donaldson.
Donaldson still showing his Dallas Mavericks effect with the green sneakers he has on tonight. Didn't have time in his movement today. He started the day in Dallas.
Anthony picks up the loose ball, and he loses to Wolf. Jackson spots up and fires. There was an opening, but he elected to take the shot. Starks demand away. He can penetrate. Flipped up and in by John Starks.
Starks digging away out there.
And it doesn't take long for Westhead to call a timeout. Just a minute 10 gone by in the fourth. Knicks by 16.
What? I said fabulous. I mean cash back? What a concept. And talk about value. It doesn't get any better than this. And something nobody else has. 5 of the 10 best-selling cars and trucks in America. All this and me.
Now save on everything during this very special event at your Tri-State Quality Ford dealer.
But hurry. You didn't think a sale this good would last.
Remember, when you're having good times with friends, use good sense and drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser.
10:48 to go in this fourth quarter, and the Knicks lead the Nuggets 82-66. Bruce Beck, John Andres, Mike Green, and Walt Frazier at Madison Square Garden. Wolf with the floater. Joe Wolf in his 5th year out of North Carolina. Averages about 4 minutes per game. And he got a jumper there. Starks to Donaldson. And he has it. His first point as a Knick. So James Donaldson acquired in the deal from Dallas. Earlier this week, he said one thing that he won't miss about leaving Dallas, he won't miss the losers. Basket counts and a foul called as Marcus Liberty would go to the line, chance for a 3-point play. And you know, in Dallas, John, they're not calling it the Anderson tapes, they're calling it the Donaldson tapes.
Cadillac Anderson going in and making Donaldson give, and then out pursuing him for that follow-up.
So what's the deal on the tape-recorded team meeting by Donaldson? You spoke to him earlier tonight.
James felt that he had grounds for recording an upcoming team meeting, and that did not make him popular with his teammates.
All right, we'll hear more of that from Donaldson in a little while. Mason with the basketball, and the rebound to Wolf. Denver Nuggets trail by 13. They've won 4 on the road this year, but one was last night in Washington. And Wolf with the basket and a foul.
Very tough move by Joe Wolf. Joe at 6'11", moving quite fluidly. Joe now in his 5th year in the NBA. 6-point-a-game performer throughout his 4 prior years. At one point, the Knicks had a lot of interest in Joe Wolf when Al Bianchi was the Knicks general manager. He was signed as a restricted free agent in 1990 by the Nuggets.
Vandeweghe fires. Rebound Mason. Knicks lead is down to 10. They outscored the Nuggets 28-13 in that 3rd quarter of play. Anthony connecting on the jumper.
Well, he knew he could power that jump shot over the shorter Chris Jackson.
Mutombo on Donaldson, and he makes a gorgeous move. 16 points for Dikembe Mutombo. The Knicks lead is back to 10. Starks has to recover. Starks against Mark Macon. Shot clock down to 8. Starks off the mark. Rebound Wolf.
Starks got a taste of Macon's tough defense. He didn't go for any of Starks' fakes.
Marcus Liberty pulls up and hits the jumper. And it's down to 8. And Pat Riley wants a timeout. So the Nuggets with a little bit of a run here, and they pull within 8 points. And Winston Garland for the Nuggets. And for the Knicks, Mark Jackson back on the court. Gerald Wilkins, Charles Oakley. Mutombo, a little out of his range.
Well, Patrick Ewing made sure it was a tough shot. He was right on him.
Jackson to Oakley, back to Jackson, who has 14 assists in the game. Wilkins. Ewing loses the ball. Picked off by Garland. Reggie Williams. Too hard off the glass. Macon runs it down. Well, the Nuggets hustling and staying in the ball game with 5:40 to play. Down 10. Reggie Williams hit a 2-point field goal. And Williams with 15 points. The Nuggets with an 8. And the Knicks with a 20-second timeout. Right now for an update, let's go to Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk.
And Bruce at Jamaica Queens, St. John's blowing it open against Pitt. Jason Buchanan with the ball. Cross court to Malik. Watch him drive to the hole and score. Sealy has a dozen. Redmond will pull into a first-place tie with Idle Georgetown in the Big East standings if they hang on to win. Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. Coach Pat Riley with a quick 20-second timeout.
Reggie Williams with the hot hands. Boy, what a different life for him in Denver now. Coach Paul West had told me before the game, when he came to Denver last year, he was a broken player. He said, what happens? Williams said to the coach, what happens if I miss a few shots? And West had said, you keep shooting. That's what happens. And that attitude between coach and player has helped make Reggie Williams the second leading scorer on this team now.
Ewing on the air ball. Mutombo with the rebound. 5:05 in the 4th. Nuggets are charging down by 8. Macon off-balance jumper. Rebound Mason. Gerald Wilkins on the baseline. Knicks have got cold. Mutombo with the rebound. Oakley all over him. And a foul on Oakley. That's his 4th. Hey, the Nuggets have played well against the Atlantic Division teams. They are 6-3 on the year. And in the fourth, the Knicks have gone cold.
Well, Jan Hubbard of Newsday captured Dikembe Mutombo yesterday rather well in an extensive article. Mutombo is very proud of the fact that he's a fast learner. He said the NBA isn't complicated. My brain picks up this stuff really quick. People should know how my brain works. They're distracted by how he's playing, however. They're not interested in his brain. He's doing some job. NBA All-Star in his first season, 4 months into his professional life.
Nice stroke at the line. Combo hits the first. McDaniel replaces Wilkins. Nuggets within 7. Mutombo's high this year, 39 against Minnesota.
Knicks have 6 men on the floor.
Mason is the one who leaves. So McDaniel, Wilkins, Oakley, Ewing, and Jackson for New York. Combo missing the second. Rebound, Oakley. 11 for 12 in the line of the game for Denver. Knicks are 7 for 10. Mark Jackson. Off the Ewing pick. Jackson with the floater. Rebound, Reggie Williams. 4-on-2 Nuggets break. And a foul is called. And it will be Mark Macon going to the free throw line for 2.
Looking at the confusion a moment ago with Mason going off the court slowly leads one to believe that he's going to have a tough time perhaps in coming weeks now with Donaldson here with reduced playing time. Mason has become a very important performer for the Knicks in fourth quarters throughout much of this season. And he's not used to sitting out, so he will have to keep a very close watch on his own attitude and make sure he stays up and adjusts to what Pat Riley wants to do with this team and with his playing time.
Mason looking upset on the bench. Macon, meanwhile, hits the second free throw, and it's an 88-83 game. Macon, who missed all of training camp as a holdout, starting to come around in recent weeks. Knicks need a bucket. It's a 5-point ball game with 4:10 to play. Wilkins. McDaniel. Got it. 90-83. Knicks by 7. Knicks have led most of the second half. They went into the locker room off the bucket. Now we're up by 1 at the half. Reggie Williams missing. Gets his own rebound. Williams takes the baseline, misses again. And Ewing comes down with the rebound. .325 to play. Reggie Williams 7 for 18 from the field. Wilkins, rebound, McDaniel.
Gerald having a real problem with the short jumpers.
Jackson convinced McDaniel there to back it out. Reset, use a little clock here. And as McDaniel sets the pick, Macon and Garland tried to play off of it, and the foul was called against Denver. Third on Macon, second on the team, and Marcus Liberty is back in the game. So it's Liberty, Williams, Mutombo, Macon, and Garland for the Nuggets. 3 minutes to go. 90-83 Knicks. Ewing loses the ball. McDaniel gets his back. Shot clock is down to 5. Jackson. And it won't drop for him. Out of bounds. Knicks will keep possession. And this is helping the Knicks, John, because a lot of the clock is just being erased.
Good effort, and the fans are recognizing the Knicks hustle on their offensive boards.
So they get a brand new 24 with 2:41 left in the fourth quarter of play. It is the Knicks 90 and the Nuggets 83. We'll be right back.
kinds of bands. Bands named after guns, bands named after countries, bands named after states, bands named after their parents who used to be in other bands. And then we get a rap thing going. We get some guys who are just sort of rapping over a musical background. It's kind of a Muhammad Ali to the 12th power kind of a thing. And we get a guy, and we name him after a tool. I don't know, like MC Wrench or Hammer, that's it, yeah. And he keeps on mentioning his own name in the songs. He's like, Hammer's doing this, Hammer's doing that. Hammer's back, Hammer's up, Hammer's down. I got 2 words for Hammer, Ice Cube. I got 2 words for Ice Cube, Ice T. I got 2 words for Ice T, Jim Brown. And Pat Riley, folks, and I think I'm coming in, and I'm bringing Jim Brown with me, and he's pissed.
Fifth.
Great game, too. Knicks will inbound with a 90-83 lead. Bruce Beck and John Andres at the Garden. Knicks trying to hold on. Oakley to Wilkins. Here's Ewing against the combo. He hits it. Tough shot with Marcus Liberty coming back to double team.
Ewing had the ability to bend his body back to avoid the defenders.
24 for Ewing on 12 for 17 shooting. Garland. And he gets it back for the Nuggets.
The way this Nuggets team can shoot the ball, this game is not in total control of the Knicks quite yet.
2 minutes to go. 92-85 New York. Ewing watched it. Fall away. Rims the basket. And the combo with the rebound. Garland on the drive. A little bit out of control, but he got away with it. And a foul is called on Wilkins. Second foul on Wilkins. Couple of wet spots on the court. Crowd's been a little bit quiet, John. It hasn't been the type of ball game that you can just get up and scream because it's lacked that fluidity.
Yes, once the Knicks got the lead, it appeared that they had the thing under control.
But the Nuggets chipped away. Mason getting set to report in. He'll have to wait.
Well, as we said earlier, the Nuggets are averaging a shade over 100 a game. And you look up at the scoreboard, and now see 86 up there with 1:44 to go. It spells very clearly that the Knicks have played a fine defensive game, particularly in the second half.
Mason replaces Oakley. Low number of free throws in the game for both teams, especially the Knicks. Ewing hasn't been to the line. Garland connects, and it's a 5-point game with 1:44 to play. Full court pressure by the Nuggets. McDaniel to Gerald Wilkins to Ewing. He missed it. Wilkins gets the rebound and brings it outside. Big board by Gerald Wilkins.
37 points for Denver in the second half after 51 in the first.
1:20 left in the fourth quarter. Shot clock down to 10. McDaniel got it. Big bucket.
McDaniel's had a very enjoyable evening shooting the ball because he's had shorter, less physical type people against him all night.
18 for the X. Mutombo, his fall away, hits nothing. And on the air ball, the Knicks will have it. And now a 7-point lead with 1 minute to play. Things looking a bit better. Garland on the hold on Mark Jackson. As Jackson made his move.
Xavier has to enjoy tonight, unlike Paul Westhead. He's not having fun right now, but Monday night on his return to Phoenix, Tim Perry and Tom Chambers await him at the forward position.
Jackson backing in. 45 seconds left in the game. Knicks in no rush with the 7-point edge. Wilkins, shot clock down to 6. Wilkins penetrates, shot clock at 3. He's got to hurry. And it's tipped in. And it's Patrick Ewing with the follow. And that puts the Knicks up 9. And that ball was just hanging up there around the rim. No offensive interference calls. And the Nuggets get it back with 29.6 seconds left. And it begins after game night at 7 o'clock right here on MSG. The Flyers coming off the big trade, the 3-team trade involving Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh and L.A.
Ewing has done a nice job tonight playing within himself, not trying to overreact to Mutombo, and follows in a missed shot quite well. He has been a force on the boards, played a very solid game against Mutombo. You know he wanted to dominate the younger player, and he has.
Ewing with 26 points and 12 rebounds, 13 for 20 from the field. Mutombo 17 points and 14 rebounds. Xavier McDaniel, John, a quiet, solid game, 18 points.
Yes, a confidence builder for the X-Man.
So the Knicks now comfortably in front with 29.6 seconds to play. 96-87 the score. Marcus Liberty will inbound from side court. Knicks again winning the battle on the boards decisively. Garland to Liberty for three. Air ball, rebound Ewing. Surprise Jackson's not on the floor for Denver. And now the Knicks looking to wrap it up. The Knicks looking to improve to 13-0 against sub-500 teams at the Garden. And John, that's a real important stat because they're winning the games that they're supposed to win, and you can say all you want about them not doing that well against teams such as Cleveland and Chicago, granted, but when you win against the other teams, your record will look good, and they're doing that. Here's the numbers tonight.
You talk about things that the team should be doing, and that's about what Patrick Ewing should have done tonight against Mutombo. Ewing, the main man of the two. Mutombo coming on strong, having a tremendous rookie season, but Ewing should prevail, and he did this evening.
Jackson and Mutombo talking about the upcoming St. John's Georgetown game next week.
Got that feeling?
Yeah, I got that feeling. McDaniel hits the free throws. 98-87 Knicks. Macon missing the dunk. And the time running down. That is it. Now, wait a second. The referee wants to put some time back on the clock. Gary Benson is talking to the scorer's table. They're going to put maybe a second or half a second back on the clock. So before everything is said and done, there will be one more inbound play. The Avion Natural Springwater player of the game, Patrick Ewing. Solid performance in his first meeting regular season against Dikembe Mutombo. 26 points, 13 rebounds. These two teams will meet again March 26th in Denver. 0.4 of 1 second remaining. Knicks will just inbound, and then it will be official. And now the Nuggets will come to the other side of the court. This is just a formality, but the Nuggets will get the ball. And that is it. So the Knicks win their 34th ball game of the season and finish this homestand 2-1. They beat the Denver Nuggets 98-87. Big third quarter for Mark Jackson, and Mutombo and Ewing with a little bit of a nice game gesture on both parts.
Knicks with a 1-point lead at the half, and the whole thing changed when Mark Jackson got the hot hands in the third quarter.
Back with our post-game show in just a moment. The final 98-87.
I'm going to do exactly.
Shooting from Petro and also some work on the glass and on the blocks. There's some pretty good ball movement right now, body movement by the Hawks.
10:30.
Contact with 7 on the 24. And let's see, what do we got? We got a jump ball. Addison and Volkov.
Charles Bronson.
Opportunities for the Hawks.
And that's what you want, though, defensively, too, Spence, as Addison comes up with that basketball, second and third guy in. The thing about it was you have contact shooting an 18-footer. Yeah, you'll take that from a net defensive standpoint, but you have to get better position defensively.
Volkov and Addison to jump it up. Oh, Volkov fouled, didn't he? Pushed off, but the Nets get it, and Petro is able to put it home.
What a recovery there by Petro. He actually lost that ball slightly on the ball fake.
Yeah.
Man's truth.
You again.
All right. Those flavor crystals frighten me.
Whoa! Wait, did I say outstanding?
Cinnaburst crunches? Not in this state.
Yes! New Cinnaburst with flavor.
BH was critical environmental check.
To keep up with sports in New York, keep up with the times. We drove an engine 200,000 grueling miles using new Mobil 1. Then, we ripped it apart. What did we find?
Beginning 7 Eastern, Sunday.
Looking to get bronzed in Albertville. Join us at 11 Eastern.
Tries. Keep rolling. One. Keeps your engine running like new.
Knickerbockers close out their three-game homestand with not exactly a classic, but still a solid win over the Denver Nuggets. 98-87 the final at Madison Square Garden. The battle of former Georgetown centers, Patrick Ewing and Dikembe Mutombo. A lot of physical play during the game, but the good friends able to relax a little bit afterward. Ewing gets the best of Mutombo on the court, as do the Knickerbockers. Hi again, everyone. Mike Breen with you here on our post-game action. Knickerbockers, again, just not a solid road, not a solid win for them, but overall, they do come away with the victory. They started off awfully sluggish, now by 13 in the first quarter, but a strong second quarter, and the Knicks went up by 1 after the first half. Then in the third quarter, that's when the Knicks came alive. The defense especially sharp as they held the Nuggets to just 13 points. And again, they had that big lead, a 16-point lead. That was their largest of the game. And then as we've seen at other times during the course of the season, Knicks struggle a little bit in the fourth quarter. You get that big lead, you relax a little bit, and you have to admire the Denver Nuggets as they were able to hang in there, cut the lead to 5 at one point, but the Knicks able to go away at the end. Some of our leading scorers for the game: Patrick Ewing with 26 points. Ewing also with 13 rebounds. David McDaniel with an impressive game. He had 20 points. And, of course, our leading score summary is brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer, Advantage Jeep and Eagle. Charles Oakley with a strong offensive first half and an overall strong game from Oakley. John Starks also and Gerald Wilkins both in double figures as well. For the Nuggets, Dikembe Mutombo, 17 points. He got banged around all night long. Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, James Donaldson, Anthony Mason, they all put a body on him. And Reggie Williams also with 15, 3 others also in double figures for the Nuggets. Knicks win it 98-87 here at the Garden. We'll have more post-game wrap-up for you when we return on the Madison Square Garden Network.
And did some good things, so it's a good win to send us out on this 3-game road trip.
Pat, did you feel that Patrick Ewing might show a little too much respect to his protege, Mutombo?
No. I don't think so. I mean, you know, Patrick is a warrior, and he competes against all of them. You know, he furrows his brow up against them all when he gets it inside, and I thought he played Mutombo real well. And they competed well. We came down at different times and tried to dig on him, but he's so big and long, and he has a natural propensity just to propel himself to the basket even when he misses. So he's always he's around the ball, second shots and long rebounds, and he's going to be a difficult player to play. You know, he's going to get nothing but better. I think Paul's done a great job with him thus far. Really has.
It seemed like he got frustrated. Second half, he was double, triple teaming him. He had trouble kicking it back out. He looked like he was indecisive and confused him a little bit.
Well, I thought we did in the first half when Patrick went out for rest and I went with Oak. We came down 2 or 3 times in a row and what we call a swarm, and I think surprised him. We got a couple of turnovers and really got our team going a little bit. So he's learning. He will learn how to handle doubles and triples and all of that stuff.
Pat, were you surprised at all to see the matchup with Cadillac defensively on Patrick?
We talked a little bit about it, but I was a little bit surprised, yeah. And I know why they probably did it, because, you know, Cadillac's pretty strong, and he's got long arms, and he's played Patrick before. That leaves Mutombo on the weak side to block shots, and come and bother Patrick, and also to rebound the ball. So they don't worry about our scouting reports. They switch 4 and 5 a lot anyway, so it wasn't totally surprising, but I was a little bit surprised.
Patrick did take advantage.
Yeah, yeah. Well, after we stopped giving them the ball, I think we had 6 or 7 turnovers the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game, and once we could finally get the ball to somebody to catch it, then he started the top rate.
They look like when they try to press you early for a change, look like the Knicks handled it well tonight.
Yeah, they have a 1-3-1 3-quarter court. In all NBA pressing defenses full court. If you can get by the first trap with a crisp pass, you can get a layup. I mean, and that's all of them. But sometimes, you know, you get a little bit flat in the backcourt, and you just try to pass it around instead of try to attack it.
You get a win like this after your last game going on the road, you like to get off there.
You know, we got off to an 11-0 start here, and then we've been 8-7 over the last 15 at home, and that's just simply ordinary. You know, we made a big point about home court, and if we want any kind of position, that we got to have a decent record at home. Granted, in those 7 losses, 5 of them were to quality teams, and 3 of them were basically what I consider crushing losses that we should have won. But nevertheless, we're 8-7, and we have 15 games left at home, you know, going on out. And 11 of those games are against sub-500 teams. So if this team is ever going to put together a home court advantage and any kind of a scheme, you know, some kind of a run, this is the time to do it. So, you know, we have to really step up at home, and we can't let teams that we should beat, you know, even feel good about playing at the Garden. And that's got to be our challenge at home. So it's good to get this first one, but we have 14 more that I think we could do well with.
Going on the road now?
Well, we won 6 out of our last 7 road games, so the team actually plays a little bit better on the road for some reason. I don't know, but you know, at Phoenix is going to be a tough game, and then we play at Sacramento, then in L.A., somewhere like that. I don't know. Next Wednesday sometime. I knew it was going to get to that day.
Do you give that any thought about that at all?
Have I ever thought about it? No, never. Passing thought here and there, you know.
Will you be there, Pat?
I'll be there.
You look forward to it?
I'm not really looking forward to it. You know, but, you know, I'll be there.
Early on in the first quarter, 11 turnovers, Mark had 5 of them.
Yeah.
They didn't seem to be a lot of forced errors. They just...
No, they were retarding now our unforced turnovers, actually. We actually are now starting to separate forced versus unforced, just to prove a point to our players, you know. I mean, there are going to be 10 turnovers a game. There isn't any team in the history of the NBA that's ever had less than 10 turnovers a game, is there?
Not to my knowledge.
So, you know there's going to be 10, but you hope that 80% of your turnovers are at least forced. And we just made some horrible decisions early, and I think, but the second period, the second, third, and fourth quarter, we played extremely well.
You just talk about Donaldson, what kind of player he is and what you're expecting of him.
Well, he's thinking a lot tonight. I think he's going to, you know, once he gets a rhythm and gets a feeling of this team, he's going to give us something of value.
How many minutes do you think realistically? You have no idea.
You know, however long Patrick has to sit out of a game, you know, and whatever, if I ever feel comfortable about using him with him, that won't happen for a while, but he can get 10, 12 a game, maybe more. It depends on how he's playing and how the second unit is playing with him.
How do you feel from an offensive standpoint with Donaldson?
I think he's a good post-up player, and once he feels comfortable and we feel comfortable with him, he'll be able to get a shot up, you know. He's got a nice little hook, turnaround jumper, so usually when I go with Oak and with Mace, you know, we really become a perimeter team, pick and roll team, so we need another big force that will be a threat to keep a defensive center occupied, and so he'll help us.
Pat, did you say anything to Xavier before the game or yesterday, or did you try to initiate his offense more today?
Not much. We talked a little bit yesterday, and X is a physical player. He's a physical player, and he's got to play a physical game. But also, there's a fine line, you know, between being physical and primal. And so he's got to be physical, got to get good position. He's got to create, you know, opportunities for himself. I thought he had his hands on a lot of second shots and offensive rebounds. And, you know, X should make a commitment once a game that he should get at least one basket off an offensive rebound. He should get at least one basket on a fast break, and he should get at least 4 free throws. Now, if he can get that, he starts with 8 points, and then the other 10, you know, he can get in the offense. So, and that comes from effort and concentration. He's not really looking to find open gaps, and he's not really working hard enough to get shots. He's waiting for the ball to come to him. And tonight he did something about it.
He's been relying too much on, you think,
he's waiting for it, yeah. Let the game come to him is one thing. There are some players in the game where they can let it come to him. But I think sometimes he's got to become more opportunistic.
Could you say the same thing about Oakley? He hits his first three, and then he doesn't shoot for about 4 more minutes. So you look,
that's okay.
You don't ever pursue him to, hey, keep it going, look for it a little bit more?
No, the shots that he hit are shots that are open. I don't mind it. They're in the rhythm of the game, but as soon as Oak starts looking for shots, then I think that's when he has a problem. I think when they come to him, see, it's an entirely different philosophy than X. See, X should chase the shot, Oak should wait for it, whatever that means.
Have you been in the visitors' locker room with the fabulous forum?
Yes.
You have been there?
Yeah, I was there as a San Diego Rocket. I was there as a Portland Trailblazer. I was there as a Phoenix Sun. And I was there to celebrate Chuck Daly's first championship in 1989.
Hey, which one did you like the least?
Yeah.
Was there any deep feeling maybe you wish you could have attended? Obviously, you wanted to attend Magic's retirement. Were you thinking about it at all, maybe just going out there?
I thought about it, but it was, no, we talked about it, and I did a little video for him. No, it was, he was represented very well. You know, so it was enough. It was great. Okay?
I mean, but going out there, will it be an emotional thing?
I don't know. I don't know how I'll react to it, you know, but I just, you know, I have mixed emotions about it. You know, who knows?
Take the family or business trip?
Take the family? No. It's a business trip.
It's unusual now, James Worthy commenting now, the Lakers' demise a little bit. He's not used to losing. It's almost depressing playing. Can you sort of feel for these guys a little bit?
Yes, and I think everybody really should, you know, have I think a little clearer perspective about it. You know, they don't have Magic, they don't have Lottie, they don't have Sam. There's been some dramatic changes on that team, and they're going through a bad time right now. So, you know, they'll be back, and once they get healthy again and get Lottie back with Sam, you know, I think they're going to be right there with about, you know, 6 or 7 other teams, you know, and just going through a tough period. Okay.
Thanks.
The Coaches Conference, sponsored by the New York Times. Pat Riley's club wins it 98-87 over the Nuggets here at the Garden. Xavier McDaniel with a fine performance, 20 points. And we'll talk with McDaniel when we return on our post-game report. Knicks with their 34th win of the season. They defeat the Denver Nuggets 98-87. One of the stars of the game, Xavier McDaniel, 20 points and 6 rebounds. Also 10 points in that decisive third quarter as McDaniel bounces back from a subpar performance against the Cavaliers with a strong performance against the Nuggets. Obviously, after the way the game went against the Cavs, you even said yourself you could have come in your suit and sat up on the stands. You wanted to come back with a strong performance tonight.
Well, I think any player, when he has a subpar game, a very, very subpar game, he wants to come back and have a very, very impressive performance. I came out a little strong, but then the team struggled. Pat went with another different lineup. I just kept my head up and just kept ready to play. And I think that's been the problem. I don't think I've been coming to the gym focused from, you know, when we get here at 5:30 or 6 o'clock. I think I have to start focusing more into what my man's going to do and what I got to do for us to win.
Overall, the team started a little sluggish, but then a real strong second quarter, and the third quarter was the decisive one.
Well, yeah, we came out, we didn't want to, the starters got together and huddled up and say, hey, we're not going to come out the way we came out in that first period. The third period went a little slower, then boom, all of a sudden we were up by 15. And that's the way we were capable of playing night in, night out. Not offensive, but defensive, where we just shut people down. Then we, you know, we get the long rebounds and we get out and run. I think anytime we concentrate on defense first, we're a much better team.
A lot of impressive rookies this year in the NBA. What are your thoughts after seeing Mr. Mutombo for the first time?
Well, he's a rookie that believes in himself, because when you take it in there and when he blocks it, he talks a lot of trash. But, you know, he's going to be a great player. You know, when I seen him at Georgetown, you know, I wasn't that high on him because I thought he was a project. But hell, he became a very good project in less than 3 months. And so that tells you a little bit about what I know about the game, too. But I think he's going to be a star in this league. And on the Western Conference, he'll battle against Hakeem, Mark Eden, and all those guys, I think he can only get better for him if he continue to work and have that aggressive play the way he's playing right now.
Next up for the Knicks, the West Coast trip. Start off in Phoenix. I know you didn't spend a lot of time there, but do you get a little extra pump for that?
No, because I look at it as another game that I need to play well personally. After 2 games back-to-back where I hadn't played well, then now I'm coming back, you know, with a pretty good game tonight, and I felt I could have did more, especially that first quarter. So hopefully I can put it back. I want to be able to put back at least, I would say 10 of these games consecutive, and then that's when I know I'm playing the Xavier McDaniel basketball that everybody's been expecting.
You saw a lot more James Donaldson than a lot of guys here. Your impressions of him, and you get a chance to talk to him much today?
Well, I think once he learns the offense and get familiar with the players, you know, he's going to be a much better basketball player for us. I think people look at him, he was a great basketball player for Dallas, the Clippers, and, you know, even in Seattle. And people expecting for him to come in and fill that same role. I think he's going to take some time because he got a lot of catching up to do. I mean, it's guys, myself in here since training camp, and still hadn't really got everything down pat. So he got a lot of catching up to do, and what we have to do is make it simple and easy for him.
All right, thanks, Xavier. 20 points for McDaniel as the Knicks defeat the Nuggets. And we'll have more post-game wrap-up for you. Knicks now head out to the West Coast. They've got Phoenix Monday, the Lakers Wednesday, and also another game on the trip as we continue on our post-game report. Ewing with 26 points and 13 rebounds. Let's now send it up to the MSG Sports Desk and Bob Page.
Thanks, Mike. The Atlanta Hawks did not even need the services of injured superstar Dominique Wilkins tonight at Atlanta. They deal the Nets a 119-107 loss. Kevin Willis topped all scorers with, or they topped the Atlanta Hawks scoring play with 26. Drazen Petrovic and the Nets actually led all scorers with 28 points in that ball game. The other NBA scores, the Atlantic Division, Miami down the Detroit Pistons tonight. 107-98. Heat much improved this season, and even Charlotte won, though it was only over Orlando, 130-110. It's the worst versus the best at Chicago Stadium, and can you believe the Bulls are struggling at home against Minnesota, leading just 67-66 in the third quarter. The other ones in the NBA tonight, the Clippers playing at Phoenix in the opening stanza. Portland is at Seattle, and Golden State, which has won 6 straight games, playing in Los Angeles against a Laker team which has lost 6 straight. Now, in college basketball tonight, a game that was seen over our MSG2 service, St. John's beat Pittsburgh out in Jamaica, and so the Redmen temporarily move into a first-place tie in the Big East with Georgetown. The Hoyas were idle tonight, but they have a big nationally televised game tomorrow afternoon at Syracuse. St. John's has now won 6 straight games. Seton Hall had also won 6 straight, but they lost tonight at Villanova by the score of 74-59. And the others in the Big East. Connecticut, which had lost 5 in a row, winning big over Providence in Stores tonight. Miami losing at Boston College 54-47 in the second. Locally in college basketball, Princeton won an all-time school record 26 straight in the Ivy League, and Pete Carroll obviously let them play a little bit tonight, 87-50 over Harvard. Yale lost to Columbia 64-60, and Cornell walloped Brown 96-78. In the Atlantic 10, Rutgers lost in Pittsburgh to Duquesne today, while St. Bonaventure was blown out by UMass. In the MAC, at Albany tonight, Siena defeated Iona 71-64. MAC leader Manhattan blitzed St. Peter's this afternoon in Riverdale 73-48. In the Patriot League, 4-1 at Army. The Rams are still tied for first place because tonight Bucknell won at Lehigh 95-94, and Colgate was humbled at Holy Cross 99-71. In the East Coast Conference, Butch Van Bradekoff and Hofstra now just a half game back of first place Towson State because they beat Towson today on the island 89-87. Central Connecticut lost big at home to Maryland-Baltimore County. These are Northeast Conference games. Monmouth defeated Wagner 66-61. Marist losing in the second half to LIU Brooklyn, and Fairleigh Dickinson lost at home tonight to St. Francis of New York 85-77. Rounding out our local parade, Hartford victorious at New Hampshire 83-71. At the Winter Olympics today, the United States hockey team lost its bid for a medal when they were blown out by Czechoslovakia 6-1. Tomorrow, Canada and the former Soviet Union play for the gold medal. Rochester, New York's Kathy Turner won a gold medal today in the women's 500-meter speed skating event. This is on the short track. In hockey, earlier this evening out at the Coliseum, the Islanders beat Minnesota 2-1. Highlights of all those events upcoming on our full half-hour edition of the show tonight at 11. Now these messages. Daniels on the run and the ropes in the 9th round. Quick flurry by Norris, and at 2:37 in the round, Daniels goes down. Norris, fighting in his hometown, retains his title, improving to 31-3 with 17 knockouts. Again, we invite you to join us for our half-hour edition, including Mike Quick and his high school sports report tonight at 11 from the sports desk. Now here's Mike Breen again.
Knickerbockers was an 11-point victory at the Garden, defeating the Denver Nuggets, improving to 34-19 overall. Knicks did not get their 34th win last season until March the 20th. Time now for the Budweiser Dunk of the Game. The Dunk of the Game is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers with that distinctively clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. One of the plays that really ignited the Knickerbockers, Mark Jackson and Patrick Ewing teamed up a number of times. And this one to end the first half, final seconds of the first half, gave the Knicks their first lead of the game as they went into the halftime locker room with a 52-51 lead. Hi again, everyone. Knickerbockers get a little momentum now as they head out on the West Coast. Again, not a pretty one, but a solid one. One of the keys, Mark Jackson's playmaking. John Andres had a chance to talk with Mark earlier.
Thank you, Mike. Mark Jackson, another fine finish for the Knicks, although it was a little shaky at the start. Why do you think the team got off to such a sloppy start handling the ball?
Well, I really can't explain it. I know even myself got up in the air and made some careless plays in the first quarter. Really unfortunate, but I think it shows what this team is made of because we settled down, we executed, and just a big win for us and a big comeback.
Mark, we noted in the third quarter when the team was running with you directing the show that you were very hot, but you weren't scoring. You were giving up the points. You were explosive out there. What was the difference for you as that third quarter began?
Well, I really made a conscious effort coming out in the third quarter. I was upset at myself at halftime, thinking in the locker room during the halftime. Wanted to really come out and be a spark plug in the third quarter. Defensively picked it up. We got the fast break going, made some big plays, and, you know, that's what it's all about.
Do you feel the personal responsibility to get the team running?
I feel responsible. I would have to say yes, because it's sort of like a quarterback in football. You have to get the ball in the right people's hands and make things happen. I'm just trying to create, just trying to be a spark plug out there, and that's what a lead is all about.
Mark, along with your 15 assists tonight, you had 5 rebounds. You're doing a lot more rebounding lately. Is that conscious? Are you trying to hit the boards more?
Yes, it is conscious. I'm trying to really lend support to guys like Oak and Patrick and Mace and X, who's doing a great job on the backboard, but I'm trying to get in there, get the long rebounds, and just to help the fast break even more so.
Did you think Patrick might overreact to playing against his protege tonight, Dikembe?
No, Patrick's used to that, especially a guy like Mutombo, who pretty much was under Patrick's wing at Georgetown. It really was a lot of fun to see those guys battling, and Patrick was just looking forward to it. He had a big night and came up big.
Mark, what's your overview now on the presence of James Donaldson?
Really looking forward to it. Right now, tonight, you could tell he was just getting his system down. Really didn't know the plays that well, but he's going to help us a tremendous amount. We're looking forward to seeing him when he really gets everything down, and just happy to have him.
Mark, you look ready for a nice Saturday night on the town. Congratulations on an excellent game.
With my wife and son.
Okay, Mark Jackson, thanks for visiting with us. Now let's get back to Mike Breen.
Thank you, John. Guests will receive a Be My Guest restaurant certificate from American Express. Be My Guest restaurant certificates are a tasteful gift for any occasion. Give your friends and family a unique dining experience at any restaurant they choose in the U.S. and Canada that welcomes the American Express card. Call 1-800-535-GIFT or visit a participating American Express travel office in the New York metropolitan area. Knicks win by 11. We'll have more with Mike Kay and Clyde Frazier coming up. Garden defeat the Denver Nuggets for their 34th win of the season. We're joined now by Michael Kay, who had a chance to speak with the two former Hoya centers in the locker room. Patrick looked a little tight early playing against Mutombo, but then obviously he loosened up. What do you have to say about the matchup?
I think the whole team was tight early. They came out really flat, but Patrick and Mutombo really have something going. They practice all summer long at Georgetown, and they're very close friends. But it really looked like Patrick dominated for the most part against Mutombo, and he seemed to be very pleased with that. Talking about it in the locker room, he said, I know that if this guy had outplayed me, he would have been talking all summer, and that I do not need to hear. He said, so it was an important game for me like that. He said, but it's more important that the Knicks beat the Nuggets tonight.
Patrick's such a competitor. There was one time when he was down on the floor, Mutombo was standing right next to him, didn't help him up. Neither one could care less about the friendship during the course of the game.
Absolutely not. And at the end of the game, about a minute left, Mutombo is behind Patrick on offense, and he really elbowed him in the back. And Patrick spent most of about 20 minutes after the game having the back ice, and he said, I can't believe this guy did this to me. Supposed to be my good friend, and I can't believe it.
Knickerbockers, again, didn't look great in winning tonight, but still came up with a solid win. But they were disappointed in the way they started the game.
Oh, yeah. They said that it might have had a residual effect from the last game against the Cavaliers, which Pat Riley pretty much said that was one of the worst losses of the year, if not the worst. And there was a residual effect. They came out a little bit flat, but this is the type of game that they know they should just dominate right through 4 quarters. And although they won, and they really won going away, they were a little bit upset with the fact that they didn't win easy. And that's the type of game that they have to do this against, especially going out on a trip. They want to go out on a high, and the way the game ended, I guess you could say they did.
James Donaldson got his feet wet. It was a long day for him, but he looked okay out there.
Yes, he did. The funny thing is, talking about centers, you know, Donaldson walked out quietly, and he's on the winning team. And in the Nugget locker room, Mutombo is just whining about the fact he's looking at the stat sheet, and he says, they have no blocks for me. I had 3 blocks. I threw one right back in Xavier McDaniel's face, and I told him so. He says, and they give me 0 blocks. And then Winston Garland sitting next to me goes, you know, Patrick Ewing just kicked your butt, and all you could care about is a 0 on the block sheet. And he goes, that's right, he kicked my butt, but I still deserve blocks when I need it. He's a pretty funny kid, and he's really unaffected still by his stardom, but he's really a player, and he's going to be a great player in the years to come.
There were a lot of blocks and a lot of dunks in this one, but also a number of fast break opportunities as the Knicks able to convert on a lot of them. Let's take our look at our fast break of the game. Fast break of the game is brought to you by Midas for breaks done right. Remember, nobody beats Midas. Nobody. This happened late in the 3rd quarter. Mark Jackson, again, doing a great job leading the break. Is able to start this one here along with John Starks. And Starks with a beautiful feed. Jackson's strong performance as he helps the Knicks defeat the Nuggets 98-87.
Wilkins with the step. Stark pushes it up the floor for Ewing. Wilkins with the step. Wilkins driving, sees some space, and only good movement without the ball. Shot clock is down to 8. McDaniel with a step off.
The Knicks head west to take on the Phoenix Suns Monday night at 9:30 here on MSG Network.
Knicks with an 11-point victory at the Garden, 98-87 over the Denver Nuggets tonight. Some pretty impressive highlights to show for you this evening as the Knicks now 34-19 on the season. Of course, James Donaldson, his first game in a Knicks uniform. A lot of Georgetown people out there tonight. Reggie Williams to Dikembe Mutombo over Patrick Ewing. Denver had a 13-point lead early, but Ewing strong in the 2nd quarter and brings the Knicks to within 1. And near the end of the first half, Jackson and Ewing, like so many times before, this gave the Knicks their first lead of the game, 52-51 at halftime. 3rd quarter was the Knicks quarter, although some wild play at times, scramble for the loose ball, defensive intensity was there. Gerald Wilkins, you know what he can do when he gets out on the break. No, he has not practiced that one, but it gave the Knicks a 9-point lead. And later on in the 3rd quarter, John Starks looking inside. There's Donaldson. His first 2 points as a New York Knick. He also had 3 fouls in 9 minutes of play. And Denver hung tough. They closed to within 5 late in the 4th. But Xavier McDaniel had a number of big shots. There's 2 of his 20. And Pat Riley's team goes on to win it 98-87 at the Garden. We are joined now by Clyde Frazier, who watched again, and not an overly impressive performance, but this is a type of win. You know, they got a lot of guys in there, a little balance, and gets them going as they head out to the West Coast.
Yeah, the Knicks are seemingly playing just well enough to win. Against the lower echelon teams, they have not been galvanized, and that's, you can understand that, but they've always had enough to come in and pull the game out. I thought defensively, they asserted themselves when they were down. They got a lot of easy hoops in transition, and as you mentioned, now they embark on a West Coast trip, but that will not be a junket for them. Phoenix is a very tough team. The Lakers are struggling, but they'll be waiting for Pat Riley's night there. And Sacramento is a good home team as well.
All right, Clyde, thanks for being with us. Of course, Knicks start that trip on Monday, where they'll play the Phoenix Suns, a team that, good game here at the Garden when the Knicks played them here, but now out at Phoenix as they start that 3-game West Coast trip. That's our next broadcast, Monday at 9:30 p.m. Coming up next, college basketball. Billy Packers college basketball, followed by MSG Sports Desk, the half-hour edition. Mike Breen saying good night, everyone. Knicks win it 98-87.
That's for a big guy. The other one is J.R. Ryder. The Rebels' leading scorer this year is a guy who can really light this team up. He's got a nice outside shot, and he can fly to the basket. Ryder has a 42-inch vertical leap. He's a soft-spoken guy, but he's not shy about his basketball ability.
I'm pretty versatile on the floor. I can rebound, I can jump, I can shoot it, I can go to the hole. And right now, I'm pretty happy with my defense. You know, I came to UNLV and they taught me some defense, and I've been working on it. But I do a lot of things on the floor. You know, I'm pretty versatile when I have the ball. I can pass. And I just like to play.
Well, playing is all the Rebels wanted to do this year, but the Civil War on campus has made things tough. The university started the season by secretly videotaping a basketball conditioning class that they said may be a violation of NCAA rules. No basketball was being used in the class. Coaches have had their personal mail open. Students have been used to spy on the basketball program, and a former interim athletic director was leaking damaging and sometimes misleading information about the basketball program to the local media. So after 19 years of winning basketball, Tarkanian has gotten the idea that he's not wanted around UNLV anymore.
If there's a conflict between basketball and in the administration, the conflict is because we got bombed. We got bombed without knowing about it. It was just like when Pearl Harbor got bombed. There was a conflict. The people in Pearl Harbor didn't like that. That same thing happened to us.
The battle has caused a division, a deep division, between Tarkanian and UNLV President Robert Maxson.
It's tough. After 18 years.
Tarkanian resigned last June and will coach his final game at UNLV on March 3rd. But there are many people in Las Vegas who want the coach to stay and the president to leave. But through it all, the battles from within and the battles from the NCAA, the Rebels continue to win. And this season could go down as Tarkanian's best coaching job ever. Ron Futrell reporting for Billy Packers College Basketball.
I'm sure by now you've heard the charge that former running Reb Larry Johnson was given a sports car to use for a couple of weeks by a Las Vegas car dealer. Hey, enough already. Charges, charges, charges. The water has been muddied by so many charges, it's time to move on. Let's get on to another subject and let the boys play ball. Coming up, one-on-one talk with University of Connecticut coach.
Welcome back. Back to the NBA. You know, there are a lot of reasons to watch when the Celtics go to Indianapolis. First, it is Larry Bird's homecoming. Secondly, it's a chance for Larry to rejoin last year's playoff battle.